There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Please welcome to the stage.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Clouds and rain. All rain on this Monday afternoon. Windy and 42. Periods of rain throughout the night tonight. Little change in temperature and windy, 38. Tuesday, rain in the morning, changing to rain and wet snow in the afternoon. Gusty winds, 42 on Tuesday. Periods of snow Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. An inch or less accumulation going down to 25. All is quiet Wednesday and Thursday, but keep it windy. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Victory Men's Health is making it easier than ever before to feel like your old self again. Mark Cox here from my friends at Victory Men's Health. Now they're offering telehealth. You reside in Illinois or Missouri, the process is easy. Just go to their website, pick the service you're interested in. Maybe it's semaglutide for weight loss or hormone therapy or micronutrient testing. Once you've made your selection and your results are in, they'll do a video telehealth consult to review. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Ends 2/10/24. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know the level of the president's personal knowledge of his medical situation, and that would really be between the two men. Your question about that elective procedure is really better directed to the Pentagon, not to us. I want to make sure I put a fork in my answer to you. There is no plans for for anything other than for Secretary Austin to stay in the job and continuing the leadership that he's been demonstrating.
That's John Kirby talking about Secretary Lloyd Austin, who was MIA on the job and nobody knew it. This is a really wild story that has developed over the course of this weekend. I'll tell you the Fox News story. You probably heard a little bit about this so far, but just to bring everybody up to date, the White House and President Biden has, quote, full trust in Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin as calls mount for the defense leader to resign or be fired in light of his quiet hospitalization in an intensive care unit that even the White House was unaware of for days. The White House told Fox News Digital on Monday morning that President Biden has no plans to replace Austin and continues to have full trust and confidence in the secretary. This is a very bizarre development over the weekend, and it's kind of, I think the most confusing thing to me is how it seems as though different factions of the government who should be operating at the most high levels, at the most, I guess, secretive levels, maybe say the CIA, should understand the whereabouts of one another. And the Secretary of Defense, which from what I've heard in reports today is sixth in the chain of command, went to have an elective procedure at the end of December, came home, experienced pain, was readmitted to Walter Reed, and was in the ICU. And the President of the United States didn't know about it. And he reported himself as working from home. I think that's an issue. It's disconcerting for me. I don't know the ins and outs of those types of operations as a very much so civilian in the middle of the country. So we're going to go to an expert to talk about that. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood is going to be with us in 15 minutes or so to give us kind of the brass tacks foundational understanding of what happens if somebody at that high of a level is incapacitated. And, you know, we've spent almost 4 years now watching people be able to very much so work from home. Does the Secretary of Defense have the ability to work from home, to work from a hospital bed, and everything is fine? Do we believe that the president can just not know about something like that and it not be a huge breakdown in the order of business in the national defense of the United States of America? I think that the story to me has alarm bells ringing all over it. And the more drastic those alarm bells, the more I want to make sure that we talk to somebody who understands exactly where this breakdown affects people like you and me and our ability to have a safe and secure country, which is why we want to have an expert come talk to us at about 12:25. So you're going to want to keep it right here. The YouTube live chat poll for today, Brad, I'm looking forward to asking you this one. Who will win the Iowa caucus? Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, or someone else? Every day we do a live chat poll, which is really excited because in 2024 it's sponsored by Ruler Foods, which is great because we do it every day, and Ruler Foods is there to keep those prices low for you every day. So it's cool to have a sponsor on that. Thank you to Ruler Foods for that. But the poll for today, where what you do is you go onto YouTube. You can get to YouTube from anywhere, your phone, your computer, your desktop, laptop, whatever. Type in Annie Frey in YouTube, and you'll see our channel there, and you'll see that we're broadcasting live, so you can come watch us and say hello and comment along with the discussion as we move through the day. We interact quite a bit with it. We might read your comments on the air, so on and so forth. But we do this poll every day, and it pops up in the live chat of the live broadcast, and today's is who will win the Iowa caucus? Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else? Brad?
I'm still DeSantis.
You really think he's going to pull it off?
I do think that he's going to pull it off.
It would be one of the biggest news stories. It'd be the biggest news story of 2024 so far.
It absolutely would.
Probably. Maybe. I don't want to throw that out there either to be wrong. Why do you think, I mean, I know that this was a bold prediction that you made when we were making our 2024 predictions on our Christmas tree ornaments, which are displayed still in our office. Why do you think, DeSantis, why are you willing to go out on that limb?
Why am I willing to go out on that limb? It's like a gut feeling based on some little like side evidences that I'm seeing on social media, mainly off of social media and responses from the Trump campaign and stuff like that. So I remember Donald Trump when he was campaigning 2016, 2020, he was filling auditoriums, like not small spaces, big spaces. He would go to arenas and whatnot, and he would fill them to the roof. lately I'm noticing that when he's doing campaign events in Iowa, he's doing them and he's filling them, but he's doing them like in high school gyms.
Yeah.
Filling them more than Hillary Clinton ever filled a high school gym. Don't get me wrong. But it's like for Donald Trump, that's not like his usual stuff. And then the other side of it is I'm watching kind of almost like the Trump team on social media laying the groundwork for this to actually have been closer than what they expected.
They're hedging?
Yeah, they're a little hedging their bet. And it's like, oh, if this happens, it's going to be like this. But everybody's going to say, oh, see, Donald Trump didn't have it. But he still won and blah, blah, blah. So
I know what you're saying about the high school gymnasiums, although I think that doing this stuff in a high school gym is like the most Iowa thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have a huge auditorium in every county across Iowa. So the ability to fill an auditorium is limited based on the availability of auditoriums that are huge enough or, big venues. I think Trump wins. I don't think Trump wins by as much as I think the thing that the Trump campaign is hedging on, and I do agree with that for sure. I think the Trump campaign is getting prepared to defend a smaller margin of victory than what the polls have been saying. And I think that the push on the Trump campaign to constantly talk about how everybody should just drop out of this race. They shouldn't even be in here. The polls have already determined the RNC should make Donald Trump the nominee. We should move on. That campaign talking point is really over because we are 1 week away from the Iowa caucuses, which Brad and I are going to be broadcasting live from here on Monday. I know it's a holiday for a lot of people. We're going to be in studio to make sure that we cover the news as it happens. So if you get the day off, maybe that's the first day that you pop us up on home on the YouTube or keep us on the radio and follow along as the developments happen there. The Iowa caucus is, well, let's get a guest on to give us like a foundational explanation of what it's like at the Iowa caucus, because it is not what you experience as somebody who just goes and votes in a primary. Because a caucus is different than a primary. Some states caucus, some states primary. My understanding is Missouri is going to a version of a caucus. So it's different, and you might be interested to find that out. I think Donald Trump's lead is insurmountable for Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. I think that one of the most interesting things about this campaign that is completely secondary to the Trump factor is how much Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley have distinguished themselves from one another. Because at first, this primary was really about Trump or not Trump. And you were either for Trump or you were for someone else. And Ron DeSantis has really been able to establish himself as not Nikki Haley. And that's not where I would have seen the emphasis going early on. And, a lot of the accusations about Nikki Haley and who she is and who she represents and who she doesn't represent, there has been a successful campaign against Nikki Haley that has actually kind of come from both the Trump and DeSantis camps as well.
Well, I can tell you I am not going to accept that under any circumstances. I'm running for president because I think we need somebody that can win and get the job done. But I would much rather do my final 2 years as governor, 25 and 26, than be vice president. I don't think it's a position that offers much.
Well, it doesn't say it in that clip, but he's referring to being Nikki Haley's vice president in that clip, not Donald Trump's vice president. No interest whatsoever in serving on a Nikki Haley ticket. I don't know. He said it. Nikki Haley said that she wouldn't challenge Donald Trump, and here she is challenging Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis has, and here's where Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, their Venn diagram intersects, because they continue to talk about Nikki Haley's word is chaos, how chaos follows Donald Trump everywhere he goes. And she always adds that this is how she tries to appease the Trump voters who don't like Nikki Haley. She tries to say, warranted or not, chaos follows Donald Trump wherever he goes. Well, here's the Ron DeSantis line on that.
I think that, we have an opportunity. One of the reasons I'm running is I think the Republicans, we have a great shot to win if we frame the issues about the problems facing the country, the failures of the Biden administration, and how we have a great set of ideas to turn the country around. And I've shown how that can be done in Florida. I think if we're relitigating the past elections, if it's about, Donald Trump or his legal issues or criminal trials or all that stuff, I think it's going to be a really nasty election. I don't think that puts Republicans in a good position to win. So we need to have an election on the issues. We need a candidate that can win a clear-cut victory, and we need to start looking forward as a country.
So I think that Ron DeSantis' message is accurate on that. I do think that should Donald Trump get the nomination, which I believe is very likely to happen, that it's going to be very, very nasty. And in Nikki Haley's words, there will be a ton of chaos. But Donald Trump has been out of office for going on 4 years now, and the Democrats are the ones who keep the chaos front and center. They feed off of it. They leech off of it. Listen to, is it Capehart? Jonathan Capehart of MSNBC? I don't know who that is. But he's on MSNBC. Yeah. So that means he's of, I'll say it this way, some relevance. And now on the Andy Frey Show.
I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
I'm sorry that he hurts. He's talking about the anniversary of January 6th. People. I put this in a tweet. I wrote it out. Man, one day I should write a book, and it's the tweets I didn't send. That's what I should call it. Because those are my best tweets, and I don't send them. Because I always know if I put this out there, it's probably going to get taken the wrong way. And then I'm going to have people yelling at me, saying something stupid like Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, and I don't think it is. But that's maybe my most trafficked tweet in the history of tweets. And I tweeted it out, I think it was my last night of work before Christmas break. I watched Die Hard for the first time. I said the movie was absurd because it's absurd. But I wasn't mad at it. I didn't insult the movie. Nobody's watching Die Hard going, this is exactly how everything would go. Nobody's watching it that way. And the second thing I said was an unforgivable sin that Die Hard wasn't a Christmas movie. The second thing that I tweeted, wrote to tweet and didn't end up tweeting, which maybe I should have considered for the Die Hard tweet, was that I actually think that January 6th, this is the third anniversary of where the Constitution and democracy in our republic actually proved it's strong enough to fight off against either insurrectionists, if you will, or the possibility that exists that feds were a part of that whole operation. And all I want to do is see the people who are in charge of the FBI say, no, there weren't feds in charge or involved. Just tell us no. When you're under oath and you've been asked if there were feds involved, nobody has ever said no. So I have questions. Regardless, whether it was an inside job or an outside job, guess what? Joe Biden is the freaking president, which means democracy won. And you guys are crying and whining like little babies on MSNBC over the fact that this just hurts you so much. What is wrong with you people? We've seen riots and people shutting down streets and burning down businesses that are irreparable. I was just casually, I'm like Forrest Gump in this regard, on my way home from fleeing to the state of Florida when Ron DeSantis reopened Florida in June of 2020. We're on our way back from a trip to Florida that we planned the week we took it. Driving through Atlanta when they shut down, was that 75 or 95?
I believe it's 75.
Whatever, big highway through Atlanta. They walked out onto the street and shut it down. The Wendy's, I think it was, that they burned down in Atlanta. We got off the highway because we couldn't take the highway because there are people on it. And we drove literal blocks from that Wendy's 2 hours before they burned the thing down. Nobody's crying about that. Nobody's sobbing on the air on the anniversary of the travesties that have taken place over the course of our recent history when riots were involved. No, they're encouraging more. It's unreal. And it just begs the question, why do you need January 6th so much? In the effect of saying that democracy needed to be protected, if you're on the side of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden has been your president, an awful one, I might add, but he has been the president for all of these years, then democracy worked. How can you come to any other conclusion? But you got to remind people that 3 years ago, I don't know, some people did things. Is that how the quote goes?
That's what she said.
You people. On MSNBC. I got to Google that guy. I got to see if his face is as sad as his voice. I don't know. I didn't take a moment on Saturday, January 6th to reflect on that. I was just happy it was Saturday. Well, Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, has been working from home, and by that I mean an ICU bed at Walter Reed, and we don't really know what's going on, and I don't really know what the implications are, and I'm a little bit hesitant to listen to the Republican side of the aisle look at this as an opportunity to dunk on the administration. Why? Because I don't know enough about how these operations work at this Pentagon level, the highest levels of national defense that this country needs to maintain. I've never been there. I don't know anything about it. It seems pretty freaky to me. So I'm going to go to somebody when we return here, retired Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, who I love talking to him about these types of military and national defense issues because he knows. So let's get the expert on to answer my questions and yours if you want to pose them to us on the Andy Frey YouTube channel right now and answer that YouTube live question. Who will win the Iowa caucus? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-Armory.com. Have you visited STS Armory in Pontoon Beach? Man, this is the right time to go see them, to get acquainted with Katie and Jesse Johnson, the owners there. It's kind of a place where everybody knows your name, if you know what I mean. When you walk in there, you are welcomed. They are friendly. They are so knowledgeable. And if you've got a goal in mind, if you were looking to make a certain purchase for a firearm, I know my husband, for hunting purposes, for protection purposes and defense purposes, has been curious about this type of firearm or that type of firearm. And the expertise that you get at STS Armory without any condescension or elitism, they are straight to the point with you because they want to equip you with the knowledge that you need to be confident in a purchase that eventually you might make at STS Armory. I have purchased gun safes from STS Armory. I'm a little obsessed with safes and accessories to make sure that my home is safe and secure. And they guide me through the process with each one of those to make sure I'm getting a good product for my investment. Go where I shop, where my family shops, and where you can get your firearms, your ammunition, your accessories, and your educational classes. They are the best. CCL, if you're looking to get it, STS Armory. You can find them all online at sts-armory.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
But I'm here because your body, my motivation. Let's keep the talk. What if we found a way to get lost without fear? Leave it all behind, we're escaping. If you told me
with regard to Secretary Austin, I wasn't aware of his medical issue. In fact, I talked to Lloyd last weekend before this incident, and I know that he's put out a statement addressing it. What I can say is this. It has been, it remains one of the great privileges of my career over 30 years now, working in government to serve alongside Lloyd Austin.
So that is Antony Blinken, Secretary of State, talking about his reaction to the information that was released that Secretary Lloyd Austin had been in the hospital, and it seemed as though there weren't really many people who knew that that was the case, including the President of the United States. Now, I have seen multiple reports, headlines specifically, that say Republicans outraged, and then they fill in their version of the absence of the Secretary of National Defense or Secretary of Defense being missing. Is this a Republican issue? Is this a political issue? Or is this a actual national defense issue? I have no idea. That's why I want to bring on an expert. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, is an actual expert, unlike me, who has a lot of questions with very few answers and doesn't want the political side of it. Colonel, thanks for being back with us. It's good to have you.
Hey, it's always good to be with you, especially at the beginning of the year. As far as the word expert, boy, that is loosely used these days, huh?
Yeah, don't challenge me. That's what I'm going with you, because you've proven it time and time again.
Yeah.
Can you give us some, for people who want their political itch scratched here, that people are losing their minds, but the more I think about this, the more it feels like this is not good for the security of the country. What's the operational concern, if any, of what took place this weekend?
Yeah, there's a domestic side to this, and there's a foreign side to this. It was certainly irresponsible or just not clear thinking. Austin is known as a very, very private individual. He doesn't like to burden folks. He carries his own bags, those sorts of things. But when you are appointed to be Secretary of Defense, that's the sixth in line to the presidency, right? So, I mean, you can't just live this completely private life, in those circumstances. So, the military itself needs to know where the boss is at all times. I mean, if you can imagine a corporal or a captain in one of the services disappearing for 4 days and nobody knows where he's at, and so that person will be called upon the carpet and punished in some ways, right? For the president or the vice president or any other cabinet officer to not know where the Secretary of Defense is for 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever that duration is, depending on who we're talking about, says something about the internal coordination and who's tracking who, just in daily conversations. You got the war in Ukraine, you got the war going on in Gaza, you've got China doing crazy stuff, you have a near nuclear Iran. The world is just a very complicated, dangerous place, and the Secretary of Defense goes missing. The Joint Chiefs don't know where he's at. The combatant commanders, presumably, meaning EUCOM and INDOPACOM and AFRICOM, et cetera, the regional commanders for the U.S. It's just very stunning. So it appears that there is a not good communication system in place in terms of people sharing information and awareness, right, on domestically. And then if you're outside the U.S., if you're in Moscow or Beijing or Tehran, and you hear about this, you got to be scratching your head saying, are you kidding me? I mean, what does this say about the U.S. military? So regardless of Democrat or Republican, outrage is completely overused in D.C. Everybody is outraged about everything. But I think just in terms of perception and the functional levers of power and who knows what is going on at the highest levels of government, this is a clear breach of responsible conduct. And clearly we want to know what's happened. In addition to why was he in the hospital in the first place? That hasn't been answered either.
Yeah, we're speaking with retired Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood. I feel like you can't quite compare. If I had to take a day off, people don't need to know my business. I get to take a day off, and somebody's got to be out there to cover me. I think that if you were in a public capacity, the way Austin would be, and at that highest level, it's just bizarre that so publicly we're finding out that the president of the United States didn't know and these other individuals didn't know. Is there a practical explanation that maybe isn't as salacious as just incompetence in the communication department as to why that might have happened?
Yeah, I think, the most generous way is he's just private, went in for some kind of procedure, not a big deal. Let's not alarm everybody. We'll take care of things. Some kind of complication happens, goes by ambulance to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center up in Bethesda, Maryland, and it is introduced, inducted to handle this pain. So, that could have been a few hours. But when you're in the hospital for a few days, his aides, his deputy, military assistants, there's a whole bunch of folks that surround a senior official, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Navy, you name it, right? And they would know what's going on. And somebody, his chief of staff, should have said, wouldn't it be a good idea, very quietly, just to let the president know? And Kathleen Hicks, who's the Deputy Secretary of Defense, apparently didn't know that her own boss was in the hospital for 2 or 3 days, depending on the report that you read. So this kind of observance of protocol and just people thinking about what needs to occur at that level wasn't happening. So the other generous thing is just complacency, right? That, the Department of Defense doesn't stop working. Airplanes are flying, ships are sailing, people are training. So what does it matter that the Secretary of Defense, isn't talking to somebody all the time? And if he's not calling you, well, how do you know he's not calling 1,000 other people, during the same day? So who would take notice of this absence? And it can kind of get lost in the myriad activities that occur on a day-to-day basis. But at that most senior level, the SecDef going missing for 4 days or more, it's just astounding. Yeah. And so, there should be accountability back to Congress as a mechanism for, informing the public.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling for somebody in my position that doesn't understand the operations. I know how radio works. I know if people are missing, if people need to miss a day or something like that. I know how we cover our bases. I know how we have to put, it's kind of, people call it how the sausage is made. You know what goes on behind closed doors, but those closed doors belong to the American people still. And when the administration isn't informed, it makes me concerned that there could be other areas where the communication is breaking down. And as you listed, Lieutenant Colonel, there are a lot of things taking place in the world right now that require the full attention of our national defense team and the President of the United States. Do you believe that this is going to weigh heavily on our, at least public perception, that we've got our acts together here in this country on that front?
Yeah, I think that perception, it's just one more knocking out, one of the little bits of a Jenga tower, So, we've had recruiting crises. We've had reports of mischief by senior officials, either doing their jobs or not doing their jobs. We've got readiness problems. We have backlog maintenance in Navy shipyards. We have the Army. It's the smallest it's been since prior to World War II. It's reduced in size by something like 40,000 soldiers just in the last year and a half, right? So there are all these issues. And then if you thought worst case scenario and you had something to do with nuclear weapons, the Secretary of Defense is second to the President. The President would order use of, goes to the Secretary of Defense, and then that, command is issued on down the line. So in a worst case scenario, if you don't know where your secretary is, or if it takes a few hours to take that off, and a missile flight from Russia to the U.S. is 33 minutes long. So time is a real issue. And if you want to be a private person, I get that. Don't become the president. Don't become the Secretary of Defense. Don't become the Secretary of State. I mean, you give up some of those things for the obligation to do the things that you're expected to do.
Since I have you on the phone, if you do have
Sure.
one more minute to indulge me, I this was kind of developing as you and I were speaking here, but the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, on the tarmac, ready to board a plane, it seems, has just stated that that we are supporting a Palestinian state. You might need more information to comment fully on that, but to see the Secretary of State making those types of comments, do you have any reaction to that?
Well, it's long been Washington, D.C. talk to support a two-state solution. So a Palestinian state and, of course, the state of Israel. And it's kind of this mythical mirage sorts of things that foreign policy types like to chase. What it's based on is the premise that Israel would accept a Palestinian state right on its borders, more likely than not that they, depending on the conditions, would the Palestinians be happy to have their own country alongside of Israel? And if you look at the last 40 or 50 years of constant attacks of the state of Israel, and especially following October 7th, does it seem reasonable that if you had the West Bank and the Gaza Strip retitled as its own independent country, that somehow they would be happy with that arrangement and they wouldn't continue to attack, the state of Israel and eliminate it so they could have this Palestine from the Jordan River to, the Mediterranean Sea. So it seems very, very unlikely unless organizations like Hamas repudiated their own promise to eliminate Jews and to eliminate, the country of Israel. For Antony Blinken to say, we support a Palestinian state, it's easy to say, in the current circumstances, impossible to execute.
That sounds
right?
like
So,
a political statement to me then, rather than an actual policy statement.
they're trying to pressure Netanyahu, the prime minister there in Israel, to bring these hostilities to a close. But again, Netanyahu and his cabinet and Israelis in particular, in general, are still dealing with missiles coming in from Hezbollah out of southern Lebanon and rockets and missiles, et cetera, and attacks and bombs coming from Hamas out of Gaza, and then Iranian-backed militia groups in Syria. So they're still dealing with that reality, but the United States wants Israel to kind of hold its fire and stop trying to chase down terrorists, right? So it's easy, again, to kind of comment from the sidelines when you're not the one being bombed. And it's a completely different reality if you're inside of Israel dealing with what truly is an existential crisis, the elimination of the state of Israel. And that's the world that they're dealing with.
Well, we are so grateful to have your time today to talk about these two important issues. Dakota Wood, thank you for being here with us. We look forward to another conversation with you soon.
Absolutely. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you as well. Happy New Year. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. great to have him on and to see that news developing as the Secretary of State was speaking there, saying that the West Bank and Gaza should be united and that they support a Palestinian state. Hold on tight. As I said, sounds like a political statement to me because now they've put it out there and that might appease a faction of the Democratic Party that wants to hear more of that talk. Is it practical? It seems like the lieutenant colonel there doesn't believe so, and I don't talk to many people who are on the inside of those types of negotiations who believe it will either. We'll sit and wait, and we'll cover it as it continues to develop. Let's get Ryan Wiggins in studio here when we come back for Wiggins America, a weekend Monday roundup. As he said, if he doesn't report on it, it didn't happen. Ryan Wiggins, we come back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan, and I want you to reach out to Stewie if you have a home purchase in your future, especially in your near future. If you're trying to be the most competitive buyer out there, when rates start to come down, which they have, the prices, the competition starts to raise again. You want to make sure that when you find that house, that's the house. You know it's the house. You saw it. Maybe you've toured it. It's time. Got to make the offer. Got to get the house. That you put yourself in the position to get the best mortgage that you possibly can. The lowest rates that are going to be available to you, you're going to be able to get those with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. But what you get with Stewie that you're not going to get anywhere else, is the bagel loan. When you use Stewart's American Mortgage and the bagel loan, you pay no closing costs. It's true. It's not a fabrication. It's not a mind trick where he tucks those closing costs away and rolls them into the loan or anything like that. They go away. You don't pay them. This is going to save you thousands of dollars on that home purchase. Trust me on my relationship that I've built with Stewie. I'm a 2-time customer of the bagel loan myself, refinancing to get lower and lower rates, and very happy that I did because I have a great rate because of Stewart's American Mortgage right now that I'm holding on to tightly. 314-324-4440. You can call him or text him at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Ring in the new year with the ultimate timeless gift, a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Whether you're ready to pop the question or celebrating a lifetime of love in 2024, Diamonds Direct can make this New Year's one to remember forever. Diamonds Direct is the area's destination for exquisite diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and our nationwide price guarantee ensures you'll get the best value, period. To showcase that spectacular diamond, we have literally thousands of designer settings from all the top names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, A. Jaffe, and many more. And our experts will guide you every step of the way with the education you want and the respect you deserve. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, fashion rings. At Diamonds Direct, we specialize in the ultimate symbol of love, and we welcome the opportunity to celebrate with you. So start the new year with some new excitement, new hope, and some new bling. Diamonds Direct. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. For a limited time, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, get an additional 20% off in-store clearance appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows deals. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 12/28/23 through 1/3/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Not all law firms are created equal. Don't risk your future with just any firm. See how Onder Law is different.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day. Who will win the Iowa caucus? 'Tis the season. It's a week from today. Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else. Those are your 4 choices. Let us know what you think. We'll, of course, be talking about that for the duration of this show, but also give you the results at the end of the show. It's the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. The time right now, 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream.
You keep saying you got something for me. Something you call love, but confess. You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'. And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Well, it's the Monday Roundup, and just wanted to let you know that I have a whole bunch of stories here that maybe you haven't heard yet.
That's quite the sachet that you have going in that. Is that your favorite song?
Oh, I love that song, yeah.
Obviously.
My hips do a different type of talking. My mouth does one type, my hips do another type.
Your hips are mumbling.
Says you.
Well, I'm one of 2 people who saw what you just did.
Yeah, well, you should have seen me when I was younger. My hips could scream. The older I get, though,
Yeah.
get a little rickety.
That was that noise.
Now, yeah.
Click, click, click,
I was gonna say
That's my new hip.
His house sounds like, or his hips sound like an old house in a windstorm.
Isn't it funny when people meet you and they're like, "Oh," because you're.
When people meet me and they go, "Oh yeah," sometimes they go, "Do you guys plan any of that?" I'm like, "No, I just walked in. I wasn't even dancing. You just threw this at me. You're just like, here's what you're doing now, right?
Well,
right?"
that's exactly what I said. That was not dancing.
I'll tell you the truth. If I was moving during that song, I didn't even notice it. So
it was the clicking that gave it away.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Thought that was my jaw. All right, these are stories that may have slipped through the cracks. I wanted to point some out that I think are noteworthy. First one is that today marks the first U.S. moon lander launch in 50 years.
That didn't happen.
So you accept the originals, but not today's.
Yes. Have you seen the filters these days? That is not
so
what
you think
look
this
like.
is AI?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the easiest it's ever been to not land on the moon.
Well, that's very true. Supposedly, I'll add then.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, the first U.S. lunar lander in more than 50 years rocketed toward the moon today. It actually launched just after 2 o'clock in the morning.
Let's do the rest of our news stories in 2024, starting with allegedly.
Allegedly?
Yeah.
Actually, that would probably be more accurate.
Yeah, we would be the most accurate reporters in the business.
This comes from NBC. So allegedly.
Allegedly, Lloyd Austin was working from home.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So the difference here is that this is still NASA funded. If you love taxpayer funded stuff, you're going to love this. NASA is giving companies money to build and fly their own lunar landers now. So this is a company from Pittsburgh that has accepted millions of dollars from NASA, which is, of course, sourced from you. But now it's because they're acknowledging that some of these companies are doing a better job than the government can at building these rockets. The goal of these private companies is multifold, but one of them is to get you to go to the moon. So I always...
Literal breaking news on my phone. A U.S. lunar lander that successfully launched from Florida on Monday in hopes of becoming the first American craft to touch down on the moon in more than 50 years has suffered an anomaly during flight.
Oh, no. Really? Right now?
Told you it was allegedly.
No, it did launch. It's just apparently not going to make it.
Well, so you only reported the launch, not the landing.
That's correct.
Okay.
It was launched.
See, you were accurate in your reporting.
That's right. But yeah,
I was accurate in my predicting.
Yes, you were. Well, does that mean for sure that it's not going to make it, or is it just having some trouble?
We can report on it later.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Would you ever consider going into space?
Heck no. Oh my gosh. I'm not even comfortable leaving the country.
Oh, that's true.
No.
No, really?
No, I have no desire to leave this planet. Like, I would consider it if the planet was about to blow up and this was my only chance at surviving. But outside of that,
I'm going with the planet.
Nah.
Really? Even if it's Noah's Ark off the planet, you're staying here.
Why are you surprised by any of this?
Because I don't know. I just thought it would be cool. I'm kind of
we
torn.
are not surprised that you think that would be cool.
I don't know if I would want to go all the way to the moon, as if going to space is safer. It's probably a little longer to the moon, but I'm like, I might do space if I were given the opportunity.
Mm-mm.
It just seems
I
like
won't
it would
even
be
do
so
mission
cool.
space.
That is a ride, and that is true. I can't do mission space. That thing makes
This is
now that
two
you
in the
say
weeds.
that,
Go on. Move.
It was great, but it made me almost want to throw up. Speaking of the mood that we're all in, why winter makes women grumpier than men.
Hey, rude.
A poll
Now I'm
of
grumpy. Look what you did.
2011. See,
Allegedly.
allegedly, a poll of 2011 adults found that 6 in 10 females, as in 60%, admit to being in a bad mood between December and February, compared to just 48% of males.
This is from GQ.
This is from some random journal. Miserable weather was the top reason women felt this way, 87%, while men blamed it for a lack of sunshine.
Miserable weather. That's just the local convenient excuse.
42% of all adults are imminently likely to book a holiday or vacation to give them something to look forward to, with 30% more inclined to do so this time than they were 5 years ago. So, Annie, why are you in such a bad mood?
It's the weather.
Fair enough.
It's cold. I hate the cold.
I do too, but
well, that tracks.
This time of year, I don't know. It's almost as if you expect that this is going to suck, so you kind of go into it going, yeah, well,
No, that's just if you live in a cold place.
It's just January. A mammoth 525-pound bluefin tuna was caught outside of Tokyo and was purchased by a sushi chain in Tokyo for $800,000.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Right?
Yeah, those things are a lot of money.
I didn't know that there was this huge industry. I saw pictures of these massive tuna.
Yeah.
You thinking about getting into it?
I'm kind of interested in ice fishing now.
You don't fish for them in the ice. You fish for them in the ocean.
Well, it's cold right now, though.
In Japan, off the coast of Japan. Stop it.
Brad, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know he doesn't.
This is all allegedly.
Allegedly.
So allegedly.
No, I guarantee he doesn't know what he's talking about.
$800,000, though, is not the most ever paid for a tuna. The record was set in 2019, back when the economy was pretty good, when Kiyoshi Tuna King Kimura, a Japanese sushi restaurant chain owner, paid 333 million yen, which is $3.1 million, for a 613-pound bluefin tuna.
How many million?
3.1 million.
That's what I was thinking. Holy cow.
Wait, you knew this?
Yeah. No, I'm a dork and I follow it. I like fishing. And so like anytime I see gigantic fish caught, I'm like, oh wow. And then like look at the size of that tuna. And then it's like $3 million.
I know.
I feel like I'm in a Family Guy episode.
Explain.
No, just go back and listen to the last 60 seconds of the show.
That actually does it. That's a good explanation.
There you go.
Giggity.
Yeah, the tuna looks. The guy who paid $3.1 million said right after buying it, the tuna looks so tasty and very fresh, but I think I did too much. Revealing that he thought he had paid 5 times more than he should have.
Oh no, I overpaid
for that tuna. Last one I'm going to sneak in here before we get to the top. Cameron Diaz breaks her silence after being named in Jeffrey Epstein's documents. Her publicist actually said Cameron never met Jeffrey Epstein, nor was she ever in the same place as him or had any association with him whatsoever, regardless of the fact that he may or may not have mentioned her name or implied that he knew her. That's the case actually with a lot of the names in this batch of documents that came out, that apparently Epstein was saying that he knew all these people, and then once they'd say, "Oh, do you?" He'd say, "Yeah, but I've never actually been anywhere with them," or
like, I seen him in a movie.
Yeah.
Is she one of Charlie's Angels?
Yeah, she was. She was. Other ones, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bruce Willis, and others all seem to have no actual association with him.
Well, let's take a quick break. We're going to get an update from Steve Moore when we come back on the economy, and Congressman Mike Bost on Illinois trying to get Trump off the ballot. Are you surprised? Blah. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
I'm excited. In 2024, we are restarting the Retirement Advisory Group educational seminars. January 30th, it's a Tuesday. I'm going to be at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. along with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event. These are incredibly helpful, free events with snacks. As the mom of the group, I have to always remind people there's snacks. Everybody likes a good snack. But this is an opportunity for you to find out how Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw have made sure that all of their clients, none of them have ever lost a penny when they've put their retirement in the hands of the Retirement Advisory Group. If you're nearing retirement, you want to make sure that you attend one of these events. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just information, and they are brief. They don't take up your whole night. I think maybe tops 45 minutes. The event starts at 6:30 p.m. I'll get there at about 6 p.m. and try to meet as many of you as I can ahead of time. So come early. I would love to meet you. Reserve your seats today. 314-993-9494. You can find more info online at retirementkey.com.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It won't happen overnight. Lisa Brady, Fox News. But Secretary of State Antony Blinken says a political path will be charted in the Middle East.
I'm convinced that there is a future path that can actually bring lasting peace and security for Israel, that can ensure that October 7th never happens again, and that can bring the region together, that can meet the aspirations of the Palestinian people.
Blinken speaking to reporters in Saudi Arabia after meeting with Mideast leaders, now heading to Israel, as President Biden responds to protesters demanding a ceasefire in Gaza.
A campaign speech by the president at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, was briefly interrupted.
That's all right. That's all right.
President Biden says he understands their passion.
I've been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza. I'm using all that I can to do it.
The Biden administration has rejected calls for a ceasefire, arguing it would benefit Hamas without freeing Israeli hostages.
Fox's Jared Halpern. In New York City today, police clearing anti-Israel protesters from several bridges and a tunnel entrance.
The right to protest does not give one the right to block bridges and tunnels.
New York Mayor Eric Adams says blocking traffic can also interfere with emergency travel. U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin no longer in intensive care, but he remains hospitalized after being rushed in on New Year's Day following an elective procedure. The president, lawmakers, and the public not informed for days, leading some Republicans to call for Austin's resignation. A Pentagon spokesman just telling reporters the secretary has no plans to resign, also saying notification took so long because Austin's chief of staff had the flu. The White House saying earlier today the president still has confidence in Austin. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, you're up next. My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Clouds and rain, all rain on this Monday afternoon, windy and 42. Periods of rain throughout the night tonight. Little change in temperature and windy, 38. Tuesday, rain in the morning, changing to rain and wet snow in the afternoon. Gusty winds, 42 on Tuesday. Periods of snow Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. An inch or less accumulation going down to 25. All is quiet Wednesday and Thursday, but keep it windy. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Conservatives Care supports organizations making a difference in our community. Kim St. Ange here. USO Missouri serves active, reserve, and National Guard military members and their families throughout the St. Louis Metro and Kansas City. Learn how you can support their mission at 971talk.com/care.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Victory Men's Health is making it easier than ever before to feel like your old self again. Mark Cox here from my friends at Victory Men's Health. Now they're offering telehealth. You reside in Illinois or Missouri, the process is easy. Just go to their website, pick the service you're interested in. Maybe it's semaglutide for weight loss or hormone therapy or micronutrient testing. Once you've made your selection and your results are in, they'll do a video telehealth consult to review. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
The cost of education can be a burden. That's why Missouri's Most 529 program was created, to help folks save for their loved ones' education. Contributions to most 529 accounts grow tax-free and are eligible for a state tax deduction of up to $16,000. Families can save for K-12, college, trade, or technical schools. To learn more, go to MissouriMost.org or type Most 529 into your search engine.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
I hate winter, but as a kid I used to love it snowing, and my dog, when it snows, he's just like me being a little Hoosier. When it snows, we wake up and we would just run outside. We didn't care what we had on and just run around and build snowmen and roll around in the snow. He does the exact same thing. He can't build snowmen. He wants to do snow angels. But if you can picture this, he's a big German Shepherd, all right? He's good size. But he's got little legs and little arms. He doesn't know he's a dog, but he wants to make snow angels, so he tries his best. And he just ends up just rolling around in circles for the longest time. You got to love it. With that being said, keep the calls coming. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. And BartInman.com. That is a B for Bart. How do I say? Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Labor force participation reverses. This isn't a good sign. 62.8 is what we had. That was the best level going all the way back to February of 2020 when it was over 63. Now we back it up to 62.5. That is the lightest going all the way back to January of last year.
That's CNBC reporting on the December jobs report. Here is Kudlow talking about the
Under
same
the
thing.
hood, it's a rather soft number. It's a complicated number, by the way. I'm going to bore you with a lot of statistics. There was a big downward revision. This is the second of the last 3 months. The payroll survey was up 216. You're quite right. But the household survey, which is from what you get the unemployment rate from, that thing was down 700,000 or almost 676,000. And the labor force shrunk by an enormous amount. So participation rates fell. The employment to population rate fell.
So there's Larry Kudlow talking about the jobs report numbers from December as well. We keep being told politically from the Biden administration that Bidenomics is working for us, although they've kind of seemed to drop that name for it, they kind of quit trying to make Bidenomics happen. But we're told that the economy is great from the people who are in charge. These numbers don't really subsidize that. What is the truth? Well, let's get to our expert guest. Steve Moore joins the show now, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thank you for being with us today. Wanted to get your thoughts on this jobs report. What do you think?
Well, I think Larry Kudlow nailed it. You know, when I was on Fox News, when the number came out, the headline number was 210,000, new jobs created. And I told, Maria Bartiromo on the show, oh, gee, that's a, good jobs report. And then you peel back the onion and you find actually it was a very bad jobs report. There's two surveys that are done. It's not, I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but one of them showed a big, gigantic job loss. And that's consistent with a lot of the layoffs that are being announced and so on. And then it is true that, a lot of people dropped out of the workforce. We want people to be working, not, and by the way, a lot of people are taking disability now, and some people deservedly, but there's a lot of fraud in the disability program, which is becoming kind of the new welfare. And the other thing that's really interesting, I don't know if Larry touched on this in that interview, but we had more people taking second jobs than people taking first jobs.
Oh, wow.
And that means that, people are really having to take on a second, or I even know people who have three jobs now, to be able to make ends meet. So, I think the economy is certainly stronger than it was last year when we were talking, because the inflation rate has come down and interest rates have come down. That's a good thing. And we've gotten a little bit more growth in the economy. But, boy, I don't see any reason to celebrate this jobs report right now. And, I'm worried because, we're borrowing now almost $2 trillion a year at the federal level. That's just an outrage.
Yeah. I was looking at a report, I think it was from Axios possibly, that was talking about the spending bill that Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, has agreed upon in Congress. And Schumer and Johnson were going back and forth trying to explain away. They said that there were some cuts to, I think it was non-VA, non-defense related spending. So they were championing some cuts that were made. I'm sure they're not cuts to the degree that you, Steve Moore, would like to see right now. But I'm wondering if you think that the bloated spending that Congress, in Republican hands and Democrat hands, have found themselves doing in the last few years, is that the trajectory we're on? Is it because of the overspending within Congress?
Well, the overspending is an enormous problem, and it's getting worse and worse. And, now they have a budget deal that was just announced on yesterday. I think, in the grand scheme of things, from the Republican side of the aisle, it's probably about as good as you can get. My feeling is if you want to get rid of this enormous, trillions of dollars of debt we're borrowing every year, if you want to restore the economy and you want to get, the budget even somewhere close to being balanced again, you've got to get rid of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
This isn't complicated. Joe Biden is the most financially irresponsible president our country has ever had, at least in my and your lifetime. And so I want the focus this November to be on, do we really think we can afford 4 more years of this? I think it would be, a very harrowing experience to continue on this path, because at some point the whole thing is going to collapse.
You serve as a Trump economic advisor. What is the top priority in a Trump administration, should he win re-election in November? What is the top priority for him when it comes to the economy?
Well, he said, in one of his interviews recently, when he was asked the first thing he was going to do, it's going to get back to American oil and gas and coal development in this country and using our energy resources. And I thought that was a smart answer, because that's a layup, right? That's easy. I mean, I would bet, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, I bet 90% of your listeners would agree with that.
Yeah.
We throw gas and coal from the United States and from Texas and Oklahoma and West Virginia. We don't want to get it from Russia and Iran and Venezuela. So that is something that would, by the way, help our economy a lot too, because then think of all the jobs we could be creating, Annie, if we were drilling 2 or 3 million more barrels a day here. Think of what it would mean for tax payments. Those companies will pay taxes. Instead of, companies paying Russian taxes, we'll have American companies paying American taxes, and it'll be good for our national security. So that'll be a top priority. The other thing, we need to do is rescind all these crazy executive orders that Biden has put in place. And Trump has told me that's one of the first things he will do. He will have a stack of papers on his desk on January 22nd, 2025, and start getting back to the Put America First agenda. Because let's face it, this is hardly a Put America First agenda we have in Washington right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for certain. We're speaking with Steve Moore, a distinguished fellow in economics at Heritage Foundation, also a Trump economic advisor. I want to get your thoughts on the DNC selecting Chicago, a city you're very familiar with, as the place that they're going to have their convention. I am a resident of downstate Illinois, and when I think about the economic policies and the massive concerns that even Chicago residents that are very much so traditionally Democrats have with that city, specifically right now, their mayor, the governor, the whole thing. What do you think it says for the Democrats to say, we're taking our show to Chicago?
Well, as you know, I'm from Chicago, and, one of my early memories, political memories in my life when I was 8 years old was when Chicago held the convention in 1968. And, of course, that led to, you had riots going on outside of the Coliseum where they were having the convention, and it was a total disaster for the Democrats. I love Chicago. I think it's a great city. I think it's being ruined by the politicians. And it's an example of, unfortunately, Chicago is an example, as is St. Louis, as is Oakland, as is San Francisco, and so many other cities, of what happens when you let progressives run the place. And Chicago has a Marxist mayor right now who is just doing great damage to the city. You have to worry about crime. We've been walking down the streets in Chicago now. And so, I hope they can keep the peace there and keep people safe. But my gosh, Chicago's really faltered a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, much like the country, if it were put into the hands of some strong, solid America First leadership, it could be restored to greatness pretty quickly, I think. And
no, I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, I mean, every time I meet with President Trump, I mean, he's got his game face on. He is so focused. You know, and I don't know how he stays focused. I mean, they want to put him in jail for 582 years or something like that. Did you see now they're trying to take him off the ballot in all these states? I mean, these are the people who, I mean, can you believe these people are the same people? Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and therefore we're not going to let people. We're not going to let him be on the ballot.
Yeah.
Gee, that sounds like a threat to democracy.
The only policy point that Joe Biden has stated in his campaigns, in his throughout this administration, to beat or to win in 2024 is that he's not Donald Trump. You'd imagine with years of experience as a president, you'd be running on what you've done, and it's just once again fear Trump, and they think that's a winning strategy.
You know, look, Trump is a very polarizing figure. I love the guy. A lot of people don't like him and won't vote for him. So it could work, you know, but I don't think with this lousy economy that people are going to be focusing on personality as much as they are on policy. I'm very confident that if Trump wins, and I put the odds a little bit with Trump right now, I think we could really see another American Renaissance. I think we could just get some. I mean, look at the border. I mean, what a disgrace that is. And 2 or 3 years ago, we were on the way to getting the border, under control. And now look at it today. And I find it so humorous that all these big city mayors say, oh, gosh, what are we going to do about these migrants coming in? It's like, you're the ones who said you wanted to be a sanctuary city. Yeah. And now you're complaining to us?
A perfect example of a political statement that is an absolute failure when it comes to policy.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And now it's so typical of, people leftists. They like, oh, we care about people. We want to be a sanctuary city. Okay. Then they complain that Texas is sending them the migrants that they said they wanted.
Yeah, you asked for it. Got what you asked for. Steve Moore, we appreciate you. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for being here with us. We're always grateful for your expertise.
You too. Thank you, Annie.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye. Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation, Trump Economic Advisor as well. Great to have his conversation and input here on the show each week. And good to have him back in 2024. Let's take a little bit of an early break here because we have Congressman Mike Bost coming on the show next. And I'm going to ask him about a couple of things. Number one being something that we heard Steve Moore talking about there. People wanting to take Donald Trump off the ballot. Guess who's jumping into that dumpster fire? The state of Illinois. People are throwing the idea around. Should Illinois take Donald Trump off the ballot? I wonder what Congressman Mike Bost from Illinois' 12th Congressional District thinks about that. We'll talk to him about it in just a couple minutes when we return. Don't go away.
I swear they ran into a great big hassle. Billy Joe shot a man while robbing his castle.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
There's a very good chance as you've driven down your street, you have admired houses in your neighborhood that have been covered in Rhino Shield, and you don't even know it. Except if you pay close attention, you'll notice that they're not being repainted every couple of years. What I mean is same bright, vivid colors that you would choose with regular paint, except that Rhino Shield lasts, and you're going to get a 25-year warranty with it. I've got it on my house. And I mean it. It looks like it did the day they put it on. It lasts and lasts. It's lab tested to last that long against chipping or peeling or cracking. And they put this on businesses as well. Condo units from Springfield, Illinois, all the way down to the Lake of the Ozarks. You can find it. And my friend Darren will be happy to come over and give you a free evaluation of your home. All you have to do is call him. Tell him you heard Mark Cox talking about it. 877-25-RHINO. or online at 877-25rhino.com.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code PENNY, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code PENNY. LUME deodorant.com, code PENNY for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code PENNY. LUME deodorant.com, code PENNY. That's LUME deodorant.com, code PENNY.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 0% financing for 36 months on attic insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Show.
Our own military in this country is doing some things with DEI and CRT that are really unacceptable and outrageous. We're going to highlight them Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
This just into CNN. A group of voters from Illinois is now asking the State Board of Elections to remove former President Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot. The filing says, quote, Donald J. Trump, through his words and actions after swearing an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution, engaged in insurrection or rebellion, or gave aid and comfort to its enemies as defined by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The challenge in Illinois comes as the U.S. Supreme Court is widely expected to review rulings in Colorado and Maine that found Trump ineligible to run for office.
Well, CNN reporting on the latest development Friday in the Keep Trump Off the Ballot so that he can't win storyline here. Illinois saying, they said a collection of voters. I wonder if any of those voters were in the 12th district, congressional district of Illinois, because we have their we've got the representative on the phone right now from the 12th district, Congressman Mike Bost. Thank you for being here with us, Congressman.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me on.
Were you surprised when you heard that Illinois was the next in line?
No, not at all. I worked in state government in Illinois for quite some time, but it's really wild. That day, my wife and my campaign staff and several others were up there filing with State Board of Elections that day, early morning that day, and it took about an hour or maybe two for all of a sudden these guys to file, pretty radical liberals to object to try to remove Trump from the ballot on an 87-page document that under the Clause 14 that is basically what these other states are using, and that's for leading an insurrection. And no one has ever charged anyone with insurrection regardless of January 6th. Any of the people there or President Trump. None of them have been charged, but yet all of these states want to go down this path. And I think that they're going to I think the Supreme Court's going to throw this out under unanimous ruling. I just have to believe that because the thing is, what makes an insurrection, and there's.
Nope, looks like we just lost him. Let's get him back on the line. Congressman Bost of Illinois' 12th district there. He's going to give us a call back. He said he was going to be on the road. I want to play regarding this Trump on the ballot thing. Let's listen to the advocacy group Free Speech for People who wanted to have
Donald Trump engaged in insurrection and violated his oath of office. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, enacted in the aftermath of the Civil War, disqualifies from public office any individual who has taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and then engages in insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or gives aid or comfort to those who have.
Donald Trump's words and actions incited a violent assault on our nation's capital.
5 Americans died and more than 140 police officers suffered injuries.
Free Speech for People and Mi Familia Vota needs your help to ensure our election officials do their jobs.
Sign our petition urging secretaries of state and chief election officials across the country to follow the mandate of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and bar Trump and his fellow insurrectionists from appearing on any future ballot. Join the movement to uphold this critical provision of the Constitution
and protect our republic.
So that's the Free Speech for the People. It's their ad and their platform with which they are using to try to eliminate Donald Trump from the ballot in Illinois, among other places. We've got the congressman back on the air with us.
I'm back with you again. Sorry.
That's okay. We know you're out working hard right now. Well, let me ask you this question. Were you in the Capitol building? Were you there on January 6th?
Yeah. Yeah, I sure was. I was actually in my building across. You weren't on the. There was actually, you didn't really know anything was happening. Matter of fact, people carrying Trump signs, waving and smiling. Everything was positive. Everything I watched on the news, and so yeah, I felt no danger. I know that there was problems in the Capitol, and you know what? If you broke in and you did damage, then yes, you should be charged. And let me tell you, some of them have been charged.
Yep.
But not a single one of them have been charged with insurrection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems as though this is a major pillar nationally for the Democrat Party, is to make sure that people are very, very adjacent to the January 6th memory, at least the way that they want to imply that January 6th went down. They said it was a very violent day. We have a weird way of comparing riots and violence in this country and trying to use it for political gain.
Well, the thing is, you always wanted to mention January 6th, but you mentioned nothing about they mentioned nothing about what happened in Seattle and the other places around the nation where police officers were killed, others were killed, property damages were in the millions, if not billions, fires were set, and this is not against the government when you attack local police stations. Good heavens, we had it happen in Carbondale. Right. We had a group that attacked the local police station in Carbondale. But instead, but it doesn't fit the narrative of the Democrat Party, which is trying now because this president has accomplished nothing, and what he has accomplished is bad, and so they've got to look at something that they can paint with a wide brush from a 36,000 foot level, and this is the only thing they can come up with, and they've got to try to take the president off the ballot because they don't want to try to beat him in the ballot box because they know they can't.
Congressman Bost, do you think there's going to be any success, the Secretary of State in Illinois, or any possible success that Trump has kept off the ballot?
I think as the Supreme Court, remember, even though you have the amendment, the 10th Amendment, which requires the states to be in charge of the elections and everything, and normally that hadn't been ruled upon, but the first time that was ruled upon was actually over the hanging Chad. So that kind of set a precedent that the Supreme Court can rule in something like this. And if they rule it one, that will automatically set a precedence for all. And I think they're chasing a something that's not going to come to fruition, but it's just keeps people out there focused on it, and it's their job to try to do that. So. Yeah. This is the way they do things.
Yeah, it's clear that the number one way that the Democrats are investing in beating Trump is just to make it so that we can't vote for him, which means I think they don't have the means by policy, or at least they're confident enough that that's going to be enough for them to win in 2024.
Because you can't run on the policies. You don't have a secure border. You have an economy that's crashed. You have fuel prices through the roof. You have inflation that's going wild. You've had two major wars start in the world that not a single war was started at the time that Trump was in office. You've got questions on our foreign policy. The list goes on and on, Annie, and he can't run on that. So all he can do is try to grab something and pray that something else breaks out so he can run from the basement again.
Yeah. We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost. He represents the Congressional 12th District in the state of Illinois. You're also the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and I'm going to read here from Axios. Report here, House Republicans and Senate Democrats have come to an agreement on top-line spending numbers for the rest of 2024 announced by congressional leaders on Sunday. And here's a bullet point. It says $886 billion of that is Pentagon funding set out in defense spending bill President Biden signed in December. It says that leaves $704 billion in non-defense spending, Johnson's office said, touting, quote, the first cut in non-VA, non-defense appropriations in years.
Right. And that's just it. We are, and we should, look through with a fine-tooth comb to show where we can roost. But then the Democrats have always screamed, oh, you're going to cut veterans. Okay, read that again. No, we did not. And, you're going to cut Social Security or Medicare. No, we did not. So that means we're going into those other areas. We're looking for a reduction. But remember this. If we don't pass all 12 of those budgets, everything, because of the agreement that was reached to increase the debt ceiling, everything, if we don't pass all 12 budgets, everything gets a 1% cut.
Ooh.
Now try to figure that one out.
Yeah, and who will be responsible for that? What would you say about Speaker Johnson's leadership so far? Some people are saying he's caving here. Some people are happy that he was able to get that kind of cut in spending done.
Right. Look, like Kevin McCarthy, when you become speaker, you can have your policy and your voting card. You have that. But when you become speaker, you've got to look and make sure that we can actually move what it is that we need to move. Right now, if you want us to cut the level we would like to cut, govern the way we'd like to govern, give us more members in the House, give us more members in the Senate, and give us the presidency. And then we can govern. Right now, we are a small majority of the 1/3 that it takes to make these decisions. And yet we're actually in the driver's seat on a lot of things and are bringing the budget down and trying to put it under control. But we know we could do better if we had the Senate with us along with the president.
Yeah, it will make a big difference in November of 2024 to expand the Republican majority. What do you think about your experience so far in Congress? And, should you return again in 2024? I know you're running for re-election. Does the Republican Party, does the organization of the Congressional Republicans have what it takes to build on the majority that they were able to take in the last election?
Yeah, yes, we do. And here's why. We are recruiting. We are one of the most diverse conferences that ever has been. We have We have two women from Korea that are in the Republican caucus, many Hispanic, African American. The list goes on and on. Males, females from each different walk of life, and it is fantastic because it is a symbol of what this great nation is, but also each one of them are also true conservative Republicans. Now, some might be more conservative than others, but don't judge them based on that. They're voting on their district, and they should. But we can have those discussions, and we know we govern better as conservative Republicans than the Democrats do that just want to keep spending and expanding government and going down the path of turning over to communism and socialism, and the list goes on and on.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost. He's the representative for the 12th district in Illinois, and he's the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. You've done very well in your service in that regard as well. I want to ask you this before we let you go, because people are in the primary process, about to vote or caucus, I should say, in Iowa a week from today. And there are a lot of people who support the majority of the same thing when it comes to the Republican Party. We've got a Trump, DeSantis, Haley, Ramaswamy, a couple other people, Chris Christie still involved in that. But a lot of people are still searching right now on what it means to be conservative or Republican. I'll ask you that question. What does it mean to you?
Well, one thing is truly what it means is we understand the Constitution. We know that federal government has gotten too big, and we've got to make sure we have a sensible turndown of that. That being said, we must do what's in the Constitution. We must work to make sure we control our borders, provide for a national defense, deal with foreign entities, and deal with interstate commerce. That is the true mission of what it is that the Constitution says. So a constitutional conservative governing, and that's why I refer to myself as a governing conservative. That doesn't mean I'm wanting to shut everything down, but I'm wanting to find that place where we can continue to govern and do it in a way that it makes it better for our children and grandchildren in the future, and that we are truly allowing the people to be free and maintain that freedom, and that they can pursue the American dream. That's it, and that's what it needs to be. And what we need to have less Republicans turning on Republicans, and understand that the real problem is not the Republicans, but the Democrats we're trying to be.
Yeah, to define who the true opponent is here, and to make sure that people check records to know that conservatism in actual practice is a very, very valuable thing. And we're always appreciative when you're able to tell us about your efforts to do that. Serving the people of the 12th District of Illinois in Congress. Congressman Mike Bost, thanks for being with us today.
Annie, thank you for having me on.
You bet. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Congressman Mike Bost, chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. I was interested to see that news on the spending bill come out and see that they were able to cut non-defense spending without messing with the VA. I think that is a success. And as he said there, if they can't do all of the spending bills that they need to at once. I think that is Sean Hannity the one who was first talking about the penny, the penny. I think he was calling it the penny cut or something like that. The 1%. Mm-hmm. Cut 1 penny of every dollar spent across the board. Just cut it. It sounds like that's what's going to happen if they can't get their act together. I think, if I interpreted that correctly. Spending needs to be reined in. You have to do it. I have to do it. Why does the government not have to do it with the money that isn't theirs that they take from you? I think it's a worthy question. All right, there's a trend out there, and you know how I love trends. What is a stay-at-home girlfriend? The only person I feel like can answer this question is Ryan Wiggins. He just lifted his head at his desk, going, "Excuse me." It's a trend, and he is on the forefront of what he's in the studio now of what is happening. Let's go to break so he can't say anything right now. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com or IGotFloored.com. Have you visited them yet? Shopping for flooring is an exciting time when you have committed that you've thought about it, you've wanted it, now's the time. You want to finally replace that worn, old, rickety flooring in your house with something that is just going to stun you every time you walk in that room and you go, "Oh, yeah, that's right. This is awesome." They can help you with that at Michael's Flooring Outlet. There are 3 locations. You can shop any of them. They have one in Darting Prairie. You can visit them in West County. It's on Olive Boulevard, a mile off 270 West on Olive. Also in St. Charles on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. Shopping for flooring is exciting, but you also want to make sure you're making a good investment. It's going to cost you a little bit of money to replace that flooring, of course. So how do you get the best value without sacrificing quality? Well, the answer is you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. Whether you're looking for a hardwood product like the Techwood Plus, or if you're looking for carpeting like the Mohawk Smart Strand, you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They're going to show you all the options they have and the product that you are looking for and educate you on why an investment in either of them might be what's best for you. You can trust the people at Michael's Flooring Outlet. St. Louis has been doing so with this family-owned and operated business for 30 years. Why not you be next? Find them online at igotfloored.com.
Listen, it's no secret most real estate agents make big promises and oftentimes end up selling their clients' homes for less than what they may have been led to believe. This is not the case for my friend and trusted agent Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Mark Cox here. Gloria doesn't make promises she can't keep. She makes guarantees in writing. Here's the truth. Right now, agents know that some customers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. Talk about a stressful way to sell a home. Gloria makes it really simple by providing an upfront written guaranteed price. And if your home sells for less than the guaranteed price, she will pay you the difference. Gloria takes all the risk off the table for a home seller who's trying to get the most amount of money for their home. Get your guaranteed price right now. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. For a limited time, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, get an additional 20% off in-store clearance appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows deals. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 12/28/23 through 1/3/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today is named Under Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm. We'll continue to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, call Under Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day: who will win the Iowa caucus, which is 1 week from today? Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else? Those are your 4 choices. Let us know what you think. 1 week before the Iowa caucus. Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll 144. Now, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Not just right and left, right and wrong. We're discussing it every day on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. Very superstitious, letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby.
All right, here he is. Brian Wiggins. I'm not selling you on anything in this segment, okay?
So you don't have an angle here.
I'm not trying to persuade you.
Okay.
This is more of a conversation. I don't want you to think that this is me making suggestions.
I'm coming at this with a blank slate, as usual. Completely blank.
The blankest of slates.
My mind is empty.
Wall Street Journal says stay-at-home girlfriends are having a moment.
Oh.
As I'm sure they have time to do. The typical stay-at-home girlfriend video opens on this is a stupid social media trend. Let it be known. The typical stay-at-home girlfriend video opens on a young woman in a pristine apartment. At 8 a.m., she makes the bed and cooks pancakes for her boyfriend before he goes to work.
My mind is open.
After a green juice.
Still open.
It's time for self-care. I'm going to vomit all over everything in front of me. After green juice, it's time for self-care, a private Pilates reformer session, and a microcurrent facial.
Ew. I don't like all that stuff.
Then she has lunch with a girlfriend at a local hotspot, goes for a long walk, and listens to a podcast before it's time to get ready for date night. I'm upset. Should we listen to the Fox News report?
Sure.
This is Fox News just did a report on this. Let's listen in.
There is a new viral trend out there. It's online, and it's picking up steam in the new year, with many women now hoping to achieve stay-at-home girlfriend status. They're hashtagging it SAHG. The trend involves making home-cooked meals, doing self-care during the day, and planning elaborate date nights in the evening. The Wall Street Journal even covering it, writing, quote, stay-at-home girlfriends are having a moment.
Barf.
Let's bring in Kennedy, of course. Host of the
So I don't need to know what Kennedy thinks about this. Weep for the culture is what I have to say to this. Ryan?
Is the implication that there are other girlfriends? Like there's the stay-at-home girlfriend, and then there's the hanging out somewhere else girlfriend, and then there's the weekend house girlfriend.
I am not here to say yay or nay to that. Because I imagine that in the world where you're willing to give the milk without having to get the cow, that it probably is the case, of course, at some point that's the...
Okay. Well, part of me thinks it sounds kind of awesome.
I wanted to highlight that you cannot be a stay-at-home girlfriend.
No, not for me. But for the me's out there that don't have wives. Now, I will say that just based on the facts presented, the biggest upside to me to having a stay-at-home girlfriend is the part where she wakes up and makes you pancakes every day. Now, if
that's what it takes.
If that's part of the deal, you're already halfway there.
Pancakes are the easiest thing to make.
That's fine. I mean, you can make waffles. You can make them frozen. I don't care.
Yeah, but you could too.
I could.
I was going to say, you know what's easier than making pancakes?
Toasting them.
Having somebody else make them for you.
That's right. That's
a
right.
Sandwich always tastes better when someone else makes it for you.
I will agree with that.
That's the science.
You know what? Honestly, what I'm realizing is that if I weren't married, of course, we're putting aside my personal situation.
Obviously.
Really, what I would like if I were single is not necessarily a quote-unquote stay-at-home girlfriend with all of her needs, but a really hot chef. That's what I would like.
Male or female? Just good food?
No, female. Definitely female.
Hey, Romeo's in the kitchen making me some pancakes.
I mean, she's staying at home. She's making me great food. Maybe when I get home, she's making me more great food. If she's more than a chef, she's also cleaning my house while I'm gone.
No,
I like all of that.
False. Flag on the play. Encroachment. The only thing it lists here that she does is she makes the freaking bed at 8 a.m. Then she just takes care of herself.
Well, she makes him breakfast. And then she does kind of seem to use his money.
Be a self-absorbed.
Yeah. So I don't know if I like all of the things that she's doing because they seem to be very self-focused, whereas a hot chef would be me-focused.
And that's better.
That's way better.
You know, the thing that frustrates me about it, well, I'll let you, Brad, talk about the trad wife, the traditional wife, because I'm very supportive of people who want to live a traditional male-female lifestyle. There was definitely a time, especially after I had my son, my firstborn, I wanted to stay at home so bad. It wasn't financially in the cards for us at that point in time. And by the time it would have been financially possible for us, I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like, I need to leave. I'm the type of person who needs to go elsewhere and do something. And guess what? Because of my feminist foremothers, I am able to make that choice for me and be happy with it. But what we somehow in postmodern feminism forgot is that if a woman decides that she wants to stay at home and forgoes some sort of career for the most fulfilling thing that she feels she can do with her life, which is to take care of the home and most importantly raise a family, then everybody else can butt out and let her make that decision for herself. That is still her giving of something that is bigger than just herself. That is still a very sacrificial thing to do. And I am a mom. I am a homemaker. Along with my husband, we absolutely share responsibilities in how we maintain our home, both physically and with all the stuff that comes around in maintaining a investment like a home. But I don't understand how they have taken... There's a really kind of negative view that exists out in the world about like the woman who chooses to live her life in a traditional sense that includes staying at home and taking care of kids. That now they've taken that thing, stripped away everything about it that is virtuistic, and said, we're going to do what that woman is doing, but for ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't know.
pretty
There's
gross.
a word for it, but I don't know what to say.
I don't know that I could ever be a stay-at-home boyfriend, to go ahead and answer your next question.
For what reason?
I'm too much of a, and you know this already, but I'm too much of a conqueror.
Oh, my.
You know? I like going out and making things happen. I like making deals. I like, having business lunches and stuff, mainly about lunch.
When was the last time you had a business lunch?
Well, I'm on the show from noon to 3, so it's kind of tough. But
When was the last time you had a business meal?
It's been a while. But I love getting out there and mixing it up, contributing to society. And if I was a stay-at-home boyfriend, I don't know that I could do that. And so I don't know that the man in me says, no, I need to be out there. You ever seen the movie 300? That's like me. Brad?
It's not like you.
I've never seen 300. Add it to the list.
He's running out of things to say. And he's like, Brad.
All Ryan did was think, I got to make myself look as manly as I can. 300. Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
What does he say? What's the thing that they yell in 300?
I think they yell...
Freedom? Oh, no, that's Braveheart.
They yell a lot of things.
Yeah, they yell all kinds of stuff in that movie. That's why I love it. They just yell.
We named one of our inbounds plays in basketball Freedom so that we get to yell freedom.
That's pretty awesome.
Every time my husband yells, freedom, I'm like, freedom! Just makes me
That's pretty great.
We also named, this is years ago when we coached at a different school, we also named one of them 2319. And the plan, we ran it one time in a game, and everybody was supposed to run around and like in a panic and fall down, and then our shooter was supposed it was supposed to distract people.
This is amazing.
And our shooter was supposed to run to the 3-point line and pop a 3, but 2319 is the code for the in Monsters Inc. when like a thing from Earth gets stuck, like the sock gets stuck to the monster. And so everyone yells 2319, and then everything gets in a panic. That's
Oh
why we
my
named
gosh, that's great. You need to come up with tons of those.
We ran that play.
1776.
We ran that play, and it went terribly, which might mean it went perfectly. I'm still not sure about that.
Fire could be one. Epstein didn't kill himself. These are all plays you need to plan.
This is how we lost our job in Lutheran grade school basketball. Epstein didn't kill himself. And the referee's like, yeah, I know.
It was a lab creation. These are all plays you need to implement.
Stay-at-home girlfriends, Brad, virtue. Is this like a good new step in our culture?
No.
You
no,
want to think about it?
This is like the ultimate like selfishness. This is selfishness on behalf of the boyfriend and selfishness on behalf of the girlfriend. So like you were saying, the boyfriend wants...
That's a great question. What is the boyfriend getting out of this girlfriend?
Well, aside from the obvious, he is getting
pancakes.
Pancakes and the obvious.
He's
in
getting
no particular order.
Yeah, really.
On any given day,
Doesn't
maybe.
matter. He's getting date nights, which is cool.
Does a man who is out conquering the world 300 style want to come home every night to date night?
No.
That's not what they're coming home for. They are going through date night to get the pancakes.
That's why I'm suspicious that they're actually doing a date night every night.
But here's the thing, though. He doesn't have the commitment to go along with it. So there's no risk for him. If this doesn't work, he's like, gone. Because she's staying at his home.
Yeah.
You know, she's cleaning for him, she's making pancakes for him, and then basically she's using his money to do self-care.
Basically,
it's so selfish
it's every
on both.
guy's 1 month dream. It would last 30 days, then you go, this is vapid. There is nothing to this. I think I want something a little bit more. But that's why it's popular, is because it does like hit something with a guy that goes, oh, I kind of like that. And probably girls too. Oh, I kind of like that.
Eventually he's going to get tired of you spending his money doing your nails and getting, microdermabrasions and all these other things. So it's going to end. And then the girl's left with nothing because she doesn't have a job. She's not doing anything to support herself. So she's out on her own. And then her whole lifestyle changes. And then she goes on TikToks and cries about how bad her guy is for dumping her. And she's like, I did all this stuff for him.
I think Brad's right.
Look at all the upkeep on my face.
Yeah. Look at this skin. It's
this
perfect.
Doesn't just happen.
Who wouldn't want to be with this?
Apparently that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe
for a month.
Maybe it was unfulfilling.
Be a rebel. Get married. Start a family.
Mm-hmm. Epstein didn't kill himself. Go! I promise. The people who are listening right now who are attached to the place where we coach are going, oh my God, please don't do that. I'll run it by my husband and see what he says. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-674-2189 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-674-2189. That's 800-674-2189. What do you have to lose? Call 800-674-2189. Again, 800-674-2189.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Pentagon
Pentagon says he has no plans to resign. Lisa Brady, Fox News. This as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin remains hospitalized, rushed to Walter Reed Medical Center on New Year's Day following an elective procedure. He has since resumed duties, but has faced criticism for a days-long delay in notifying the president and lawmakers. A Pentagon spokesman now says it took so long because Austin's chief of staff had the flu.
We're told that Austin did participate in a secure call with the president January 1st, the day that he went back to the hospital for post-elective surgical issues. But the White House Situation Room did not know where he was.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House, which says the president still has confidence in Austin. President Biden says a poison haunts America.
What is that poison? White supremacy.
Speaking at a historic black church in South Carolina where a mass shooter killed 9 in 2015, while also arguing that former President Trump fuels lies and a threat to democracy. 1 week to the Iowa caucuses.
What we're seeing on the ground is a very different narrative than the one that's coming from the media about this race.
Vivek Ramaswamy says he'll shatter expectations.
I think Iowans really reward somebody who shows up. Well, we've shown up on a scale that I think has not been seen.
But the businessman doesn't appear to be gaining traction, with former President Trump still the front runner, while Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis battle for second place in many polls. Haley has a town hall on Fox News Channel tonight beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by one tomorrow night for DeSantis and Wednesday for Trump. The first U.S. attempt to land on the moon in more than 50 years may be doomed after a private company's unmanned moon lander developed a critical fuel leak just hours after launching early today. They're still assessing the problem. Pittsburgh-based Astrobotic was aiming to be the first private business to successfully land on the moon, where NASA wants privately owned landers to explore before sending astronauts back. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, you're up next. Ugh, my throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Clouds and rain. All rain on this Monday afternoon. Windy and 42. Periods of rain throughout the night tonight. Little change in temperature and windy, 38. Tuesday, rain in the morning, changing to rain and wet snow in the afternoon. Gusty winds, 42 on Tuesday. Periods of snow Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. An inch or less accumulation going down to 25. All is quiet Wednesday and Thursday, but keep it windy. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
We enjoyed up until today, very mild winter, in my personal opinion. It's been very nice, very mild. But winter seems like it is here now. I like to let everybody know, if your furnace is broken, call me. You are a preferred customer of mine. Everybody gets great pricing, excellent treatment, knowledgeable techs, and me. No extra charge to call us. You don't have to pay me in advance for me to get out there same day. Call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Two things to remember. The phone number, and if you're tech savvy, which I'm not, it's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Happy New Year.
Are your wiper blades chattering, skipping, or squeaking? Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts, and they'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop by today or learn more at O'ReillyAuto.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Are we one of your top presets?
You were giving off that vibe, so if you want to take it to that level.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But in Missouri, this Missouri candidate for governor, Bill Eigel, is planning to file legislation to disqualify President Biden from the ballot. He claims the president has given aid and comfort to our enemies and allowed more than 8 million people across the border illegally.
Slap fight's getting a little more interesting. That's a KMOV report. Kind of following up on Congressman Bost, who was with us at 125 talking about Illinois, saying they're going to keep Trump off the ballot. I wanted to invite our friend Mark Reardon into the studio. Mark, thanks for being in here with us.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. How are we doing in here?
Doing okay. Pay no attention to Ryan Wiggins, who was massively confused when you walked into the
Typically,
studio.
that's my, method of approach with Wiggins for sure. No, he confused me and I confused him. I walked in here. He just thought I was just, maybe I stroked out and came in here early or something. Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be out of the question.
I wanted to give you, and I'm going to talk to Mark Cox about doing this as well on Mondays, an opportunity to give us a little bit of Missouri insight, because you guys cover it the best in the entire city when it comes to knowing what's going on in Missouri and locally. So I wanted to kind of give you the opportunity to tell me, this is a very big year election-wise for the state of Missouri, and you're covering it. Where do you have your attention squarely focused right now?
Well, I mean, my focus really is on more national races and trying to hold the Senate in the House for Republicans. And Missouri tends to be, a bit of a nightmare when it comes to some of the politics. And we're going to have Nick Shore on a little bit later today because they have come up with a conservative caucus, a freedom caucus in the state House. I get frustrated just because I want them to get certain things done in the legislature, and they have these splits in particular on the Senate side. And it gets a little crazy. I'll just use one issue that's near and dear to my heart, and it's sports wagering. You have it in Illinois. We cannot get it done here in Missouri, and I think it's just a joke. The other thing that came up last week, Annie, is this District 3 race, which we didn't know we were going to have one in the Missouri Congressional District that Blaine Luetkemeyer holds right now. And that's a weird district. It goes back to when I was starting in politics in the 1980s. It was the 9th Congressional District that extended from Boone County up into Hannibal, et cetera. And then they've changed these things over the decades. This is a district that cuts into Boone County, half of Boone County, up into St. Charles, winds around St. Louis County, goes into Jeffco. And Blaine says last week he's not going to run for re-election. That opened that seat up. I'm going to ask Senator Shore if he's going to run.
Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Coleman was on my roundtable on Friday. She announced on the show that she is in, but there will not be a lack of candidates. And by the way, there will not be a lack of candidates, Annie, who don't live in the district, because seemingly everyone who's come forward does not live in the district, but you don't have to, which I think is a little weird.
Yeah, it is kind of bizarre. You'd think this, but I'll tell you, living in the state of Illinois, when it comes to gerrymandering districts, they certainly have done everything they can to get the seats for the Democrats as secure as they can. So they draw people out of districts purposely and intentionally, and the district isn't necessarily representative of a collection of people. It's representative of the votes that they're trying to get.
Well, I think that certainly does happen. In this particular case, I am assured, you never can be sure, that this is a pretty safe Republican district.
Yeah.
So at least we would hope that. But I couldn't even, if you ask me who's going to win that, I have no idea. Andre's going to get in. It looks like Mary Elizabeth. Tim Jones's name has been mentioned. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, it will be very curious to see how that shapes up. The state of Missouri, I can remember back to the Obama election years. It's a purple state. Doesn't seem like that at all anymore right now.
Think about how much we have come in. I came back here in 2006, and I had to relearn Missouri politics because I was here from 80 until 96. And, yeah, you just look at Claire McCaskill, and she would be – the way that Claire handled herself back then, she would be a complete outlier. Of course, now she's changed her stripes maybe to what she was always as a progressive on MSNBC, cashing the check over there. But it is different. The makeup of the state is very different than when I came back, certainly in 2006.
Hawley is up, right, for re-election?
Yes. I think we're fine there. I would not expect any difficulties there whatsoever. Although, the other thing that's going to happen is this abortion issue is going to get on the ballot. So that's going to, move some people to the polls. But I wouldn't expect that he'd be in jeopardy. It's still a solidly red state.
I know you got to run here, but the other thing is it Missouri is doing a caucus this year? Is that correct?
They changed the whole system with the primary, and I wasn't a big fan of that with what Republicans did. I think you're correct about that, and I'm not sure I'm a big fan of it. So we'll have to look into it more. It just seems like it takes, we talk about democracy all the time, at least Biden does. That seems like it limits the potential for participation.
What do you got on the show today?
Well, I mentioned Nick Schroer. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But look, there's this thing that came out on Friday with the list of 20 priorities where the Rams settlement money, $250 million could go. Not in one of those 20 items is the word safety mentioned. It's utterly ridiculous. The other thing is Carol Markowitz is coming up from the New York Post in the first hour, and she's been great on Claudine Gay on the border. And interesting little tidbit today, a fellow radio person, Annie, has come down with COVID after protecting himself with a mask since the very beginning. He's shocked that he got COVID. It's Howard Stern, and we're going to talk about it. And Carol has some things to say about that.
I'm so glad it's a national personality and not somebody in this business that we now have a beef with.
Oh,
like
this
in
is
this
even
building.
better, though. When you juxtapose his positions and what Howard said in the past with where he is right now, it's pretty entertaining. Anyway,
Don't
that's
you
all
love the
coming
people still announcing that they have COVID publicly?
Like Bernie Sanders, like we cared.
Yeah.
I'm going to isolate.
It's like announcing that you have diarrhea. We don't need to know.
We don't need to know. You're right. All right, we'll see you at 3.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Wiggins, I'm going to come back in here at 3. I just wanted you to know.
Well, yeah, make sure you run that by him.
Can you tell us a list of people who have diarrhea?
I'm not going to work on that one, no.
Well, then I'm not listening to 3.
Well, that's the next. He's not even shutting the door. He's so mad at you. That's the next video to come out from the Annie Frey show is people walking around. You have diarrhea?
just
personal
confessional.
I see you're not wearing a mask.
Just ask anybody coming out of the bathroom. Can I ask you why you were in there?
What's going on down there? Anything you need to tell us?
Will you be isolating?
I noticed you're in there for longer than 4 minutes.
Is it any different?
Yeah, it's different.
No, it's not. If you've got diarrhea, the chances of you being contagious about something, I'd rather have COVID than the stomach flu.
Well, okay. I mean, the way COVID is now is we name it. It feels like getting a cold, just like anything else.
Which is part of my point.
Yeah.
I'm more curious about who's got the gastrointestinal contagious situations than COVID.
Man, if you get a bad stomach virus,
the worst.
What is worse than that?
You question everything.
Yes, you question whether you want to see tomorrow.
Why am I here?
Yes. Man, I'm so glad to hear that because I thought I was just a wuss.
Well.
No, it's not true. I'm right in line with everybody else.
I've borne 4 children.
I've borne 3. Not in the same way as you. But hey, I guess you just had to one-up me.
You have diarrhea?
No, but I sometimes dabble.
So gross. I don't even know what that means.
Well, when you right on the line for diabetes, you eat a lot of sugar-free candy.
I've never seen Mark Reardon so back on his heels than when you go, Mark, it's 2. He was like, what? I was 10 minutes removed from saying, hey, would you come in here?
Like he was coming in for his show, and I thought maybe he didn't realize he was an hour early.
When the show ends, we end our show at 2:56:50. That's 50 seconds. This is the life that I lead. It is at least for 3 hours a day by the second. We have to hurry as fast as we can settle in nice because Brian Kilmeade, he gets out of here real fast.
Yeah,
His show is
gone.
over.
He's barely even here.
He's so busy.
You've never noticed he was here at all.
Yeah, he's so
Yeah.
clean and just very punctual.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to try to do the same thing because we want to, of course, give Mark Reardon the Brian Kilmeade treatment out of respect.
Right.
How often do you see how often do you see Mark Reardon casually come in here when we're doing the crossover? When we're trying to get out?
I usually see him outside.
Yeah, he doesn't come in here.
He doesn't come in. So, but it was 2:06, so I thought maybe he was.
He walked up to the microphone over there.
I thought when I saw him walk in that he looked a little surprised, like we were in here.
You should be more concerned for his overall mental health if he was just casually walking into that microphone.
You know, it's a Monday. It's the first new Monday of the year. I thought maybe he was just a little off his game, but it turns out that I was.
Do you have diarrhea?
Like I said, no, but I can.
But I can.
But I can.
Like it's a superpower.
Anytime. I got a bag of sugar-free gummies. Those things can give you on command what you desire.
Man, my responsibility here is to keep this show on track.
Yep.
And also to sometimes live on the edge of the track. And when I see that we are veering dramatically at a sharp angle, not to ride on the tracks, but to take a right angle off, I got to quickly go, how are we going to get this back on track? And so then I come up with an idea, and then you say something like that.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but I guarantee you that now for the next hour, I'm going to be thinking about Andy said diarrhea.
This is...
And I'm just going to be laughing.
Going to impact you that much?
Yeah. I enjoy it.
Diarrhea?
Not diarrhea.
Doesn't sound like it.
Where are you going, fearless leader?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm kind of right now thinking about hanging you out to dry.
Do you want to do the videos where we walk up to people coming out of the bathroom? Because I'm totally into that as long as I'm not the one standing there doing it.
Pretty sure that you're going to find out wherever the HR department is located after that.
Well, we wouldn't go in the bathroom. That would be inappropriate. Leah?
No.
Can you stand outside the bathroom?
No.
And just ask people why they were in there so long?
No.
Leah, you could tell him
With
no.
a stopwatch.
With a stopwatch.
Hey, that clocked in at 8 minutes and 42 seconds. A little long.
Were you on your phone, or was that like some gastrointestinal problems?
Do not do that, Leah.
Leah, it's okay if you do, though.
She's in the chat. No.
Yeah, it's just 2 letters. N-O. Some Gen Z job seekers are bringing mom and dad to interviews, and it's turning off employers. Well, no sugar, Sherlock. Can you imagine being in an interview with someone and mom and dad show up?
No.
What?
I mean, unless it's your very first job and you couldn't drive there yet. That's the only circumstance
Stay
I can
in the
find.
car. You don't go in.
Well, that's true, too. That's true, too.
Although, a la the First Amendment and free speech, people saying hateful or really stupid, loud things, don't you want to kind of know that that's where people are coming from as fast as you can? Mm-hmm. Isn't it better when you don't find out later a little bait and switch? Like if an employee is bringing mom and dad into the interview, isn't it like, I mean, for me, thank you.
Oh, because you found out that this guy's or girl is going to be a problem.
It's not going to be a problem. Not going to be my problem.
Because so they wouldn't be hired.
Business Insider says employers are going to great lengths to avoid hiring fresh college graduates and are instead trying to win over older professionals with more benefits and higher salaries, according to a survey. Intelligent, an online magazine focused on student life, commissioned a Pollfish survey of 800 managers, directors, and executives involved in hiring in the U.S. in December. It found that 39% of the employers said they avoided hiring college graduates for positions they were eligible for in favor of older candidates. This is quite a turn from what people have been complaining about for maybe the last 20 years, that aging people can't get jobs that they're very qualified for. The survey suggested employers were favoring older workers partly because young professionals weren't making a great impression on hiring managers during job interviews. More than half of the employers said young recruits struggled to make eye contact during the interview, and 50% said they asked for unreasonable compensation. That eye contact thing is something that is very heavily, I mean, that's a very specific way of framing it, but the digital technological impact that children have as they are growing up in social situations, so often given a device that they can use to occupy their time, and they're not made to feel uncomfortable and have to persevere through that uncomfortable nature. And they also aren't made to speak to people with a common level of social, I'm going to say decency. I'm not saying that they're being indecent. They're just not being taught how to do it or that it's necessary.
That's completely correct. Part of your job as a parent now in 2024 is to train your kids to have some social skills. Because if you just kind of take a hands-off approach, which in the past you could, but now if you do, the digital stuff takes over, and the kids, they don't even talk to each other in person anymore. They just talk through apps and stuff, and so that person-to-person contact is just gone.
Almost half said they showed up in inappropriate attire, and nearly 20%, 1 in 5, said they even brought a parent to the job interview.
That is weird.
1 in 5.
20% of applicants were bringing their parents.
Can we have Mr. Wiggins come to, like, your job review?
Hey, can we do it on the air?
Mr. Wiggins listens a lot.
Hi.
But I don't know if Mr. Wiggins would ever set foot in here.
Well, it's because he's a normal person.
Mr. Wiggins as in my dad, not me.
Well.
You can call me Ryan. Mr. Wiggins is my dad.
Ryan going into an
Can
interview.
you imagine going to an interview and being like, hey, Dad, will you come?
No.
It's absurd.
Of course not.
It's absurd.
Especially not. Now, I can't imagine doing that as a kid.
I don't know what these parents who are going on these job interviews, I can only assume that the parents are there to advocate for their kids, but I don't think we were raised by a generation of parents who would advocate for us. They'd be like, what do you want to know about all the bad stuff they do?
Yeah.
They'd be like, they don't clean their room, they leave wet towels on the floor, they take showers forever and waste a bunch of water, they don't clean up after themselves in the kitchen, and they like to sleep in. Hire them if you want.
Or what kind of job are you applying for that you as a parent think, I should probably be there to make sure they're okay? Like, oh, this place is only open from midnight to 4 a.m. I think I should be there for that interview.
If you are working on a worker's permit because you are 14 and you are going to work at like a landscaping company moving sod from this pallet to that pallet or something like that, and your parent needs to drive you there, and you are a minor to that extent, maybe. But, I mean, 1 in 5.
Yeah, if
that
it was
is incredible.
0.05, I'd say, it's probably the really young kids.
Or maybe it's a scenario
that's 20%.
where the person isn't getting text messages right now. These bosses seem to be employing several tactics to attract older professionals, with 60% saying they were offering more benefits, 59% saying they were offering higher salaries, 48% saying they were offering remote or hybrid working opportunities, and 46% saying they were willing to hire overqualified candidates. Young professionals also appear to have a reputation for being difficult to work with. Nearly 2/3 of employers said they thought recent college graduates were entitled and frequently unable to handle their workload. At least 58% said they would get offended too easily and were unprepared for the workforce. The survey suggested that this included an inability to take feedback and poor communication skills. I don't think that description of young people is probably any different than it ever has been for young people. I think that technology has probably made it more difficult socially for people to interact in a human-to-human situation, but I also think that most jobs don't require nearly as much human to human. I mean, if you're in the service industry or something like that, maybe, but like, we don't see many people at work. We talk to a lot of people through technology, but we don't see nearly as many people as we communicate with. And the idea that there is a little bit of entitlement and a little bit of sensitivity, I think the difference here is not that that's how young people feel. I think the sensitivity problem that we have right now is that our culture doesn't allow us now to get them past that hump the way we were made to get past that hump as older millennials, and certainly Gen X. I mean, Gen X is very, very proud of they're kind of that sandwich generation where they're not the boomers, they're not the millennials, they're just putting their head down there getting the job done. And boomers, of course, raised by the greatest generation. Like, I don't think it's like kids these days. I think it's always been kids at that age, but we don't get to say, knock it off anymore.
Yeah, across the board, not just with this issue, but with so many, we say, well, how can I make you feel better instead of get over it?
Get the job done, and then we'll be happy. Yeah.
If you are a hiring manager or ever have hired somebody and have been in that situation, I have got to hear why that happened, why a parent came with the person you're trying to hire.
There are circumstances where it would be understandable based on the applicant and the needs of the job, but it is not 1 in 5.
It can't. It can't be. I would love to hear at Andy Frey Show on Twitter, at Radio Wiggins, at Range Brad.
Or just comment on the YouTube, which is where we
That
can
too.
pop those comments up. Let's take a quick break. More Andy Frey Show around the corner. Let's discuss this again. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show, but we need your vote in the YouTube live chat poll. So if you've got a circumstance like what we were talking about, leave a comment with us. We'd love to hear it. And on the YouTube live chat poll, who will win the Iowa caucus? Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else? Brad and I had different answers to that question. We'll see what Ryan has to say when we come back as well. We'll be right back.
Country roads, take me home.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Mountain mama, take me home. Country roads.
The Diamond Shop is located in Clayton, serving St. Louis since 1910. There's some experience for you. And the reason why they've continued to have such great success is because they understand the right way to sell jewelry in St. Louis or anywhere, and that's to prioritize you as the customer. Their goal every day is to satisfy the next person who walks in their doors with something that is going to be really like a piece that you're going to have or that somebody's going to have for the rest of their lives. That's a pretty cool thing. And they've done a very good job of it. That's why they've been around for so long. Buying jewelry is about trusting the person that you're buying it from and believing that they have the knowledge and experience to guide you through that purchase. And the Diamond Shop definitely does. The beautiful creative pieces that Thomas creates, if you're looking for something customized, if you're looking for a repurposed family heirloom, if you're looking for something very shiny and sparkly in any budget, you walk in that store and the entire area just sparkles. You sparkle when you go into the Diamond Shop. They also have 6 months, same as cash. Find out more about the Diamond Shop becoming a VIP as well by visiting thediamondshop.net.
So, you got a new gadget over the holidays. Don't forget to listen to your favorite station on Odyssey. Unwrapped a new Amazon Echo or Google Home? Be sure to tell your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Received a new Sonos speaker? Check on Odyssey on the Sonos app for access to hundreds of stations. Got a new phone? Don't forget that the Odyssey app is the only way you can jump to your favorite show with Rewind. No matter what you received this year, listen to your favorites with Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe v. Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Stop the rock. Stop the rock. Stop the rock. Can't stop the rock. You can't stop the rock.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We were talking about this this article that was saying that Gen Zers are bringing their parents to their job interviews. 1 in 5 of them. I don't have I can have a poker face, but it's not my default. My face generally will react in a way that says as much as the words that I'm saying would say. If I were doing an interview and an applicant came in with their parent, I wouldn't be able to hold that face in.
What would you do? Laugh?
No, I think I would just stare.
Squint a little bit?
No. I don't know. I just working in radio creates a different type of time sensitivity than not every other job. I mean, if you're working in the medical profession and you're in emergency services, you probably know it times 10 from what we do here. But we do have 3 minutes in between breaks if we have to get something done or whatever to get to the point. So you just learn to be direct, and that's how you communicate. And so that sometimes that bleeds out into my life where I'm just super direct about things. And I just think if I were sitting there and somebody came in, I would just be like, who are you? Why are you here?
That might be the best way to lead, though.
Son, I don't think you want to work for a place like this. And I'd be like, she's right.
Yeah. And who is this? Your mother?
My agent.
You thought this was a good idea?
Gen Z, though, how old is the oldest of Gen Z right now?
Well, I think millennials are 30.
So Gen Z could be in their 20s?
Yeah,
and
late 20s. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Okay.
I mean, applying for real life jobs, not cashiering.
Right.
You work with some Gen Zers.
A lot of them. Let's talk. You know what Generation Alpha is? We're raising them.
Yes, I do.
Yahoo has a story, says why Generation Alpha kids are being compared to the honey badger. What's the honey badger thing?
That was a viral video
that was a YouTube video
in the early days of the internet. I think it was a guy talking about a honey badger. He was doing sort of fake nature commentary, but he was doing it in a way that made you think this guy's never even been outside before.
Was it Snoop Dogg? Have you ever seen him do animal videos?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's totally worth the Google. Have you seen them?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. They are so funny. I digress. Yahoo says Holly Bennett's 5-year-old isn't scared of zombies, towering playground structures, or giant animals. She also can't watch the movie Benji without crying out of love for the titular dog, and once attempted to resuscitate a dead mouse the cat killed. Described by Bennett as fiery and radiating main character energy. What a phrase.
MCE.
That sounds almost familiar. With a level of confidence that could be considered delusional. MB is what her mom and other parents recognize as a Generation Alpha honey badger, renowned for its tenacity. Man, we just suck as
Honey
a culture.
badgers had nothing to do with anything until that video.
Renowned for its tenacity, the actual honey badger is an animal with a reputation for confronting almost any other species when there's no chance of escape. That just sounds stupid. Delusional, I guess, is the correct word. Regardless of the adversary's size or strength, on TikTok, parents are sharing viral stories and videos of their Gen Alpha kids, those born in 2010 or later, channeling the honey badger as they stand up to injustices and take a no-holds-barred approach to disrespect. Except for in the honey badger's example, that could cause them death.
A no-holds-barred approach to disrespect for Generation Alpha?
As if the number one thing that you could teach your child is to stand up to anybody, anytime, anywhere, anything when there's a sign of disrespect. Like, if that bear is disrespecting you, you tell them what's up.
Yeah.
You say, I'm Gen Alpha, and I'm a freaking honey badger, and then it eats you. God dang it, people.
Yeah, I think the more important than the respect thing is to teach your kids how to not be eaten by bears.
Yes. Like,
you see a bear.
Lesson number one, child, bear.
There's one of two things.
Scary.
You could do. One of them is throw your sandwich at it and run. The other one is get real big. Act real big.
All right, small child of mine.
Isn't that what they say about bears?
I think it depends on the bear.
It depends on the bear.
Okay.
Which sounds like you need to do more research.
I guess I do. I've not prepared my kids well. I did teach them the sandwich thing.
I wasn't talking about the preparation of your children. I'm talking about your safety, sir.
I get lost in the woods a lot, too.
I thought it was in the weeds.
How do you get lost in the woods? What are you doing that you go in the woods?
Oh, I'll just be following a drone. And there I go.
He's out there looking at the drone.
Isn't it not true that we have forgotten the value of fear? But like innate, biological fear.
Uh-huh.
No, this sounds to me like you're just swinging the pendulum too far in the other direction again. Because our kids and kids in general at this age, like we just talked about, they don't have social skills. They don't know how to communicate with people. So we're teaching them, well, why don't you just go be bold then? No, why don't you just teach them to have normal social skills?
Like talking about what did they say here? Tall ladders and giant animals and stuff. You're not doing your child a favor by saying, you take on that tall ladder. You go as high as you can. Stand on the top and do it on one foot.
At least they're teaching them to climb the ladder. Because I think one of the things we're also teaching kids is that they can just start at the top.
They put them on the top of the ladder and say, look what you did,
Look what
child.
you've done. Amazing.
All of these things have to self-correct. It's, for instance, an example, car seats. Car seats. Have you ever seen pictures of yourself in a car seat?
Recently.
You were recently in a car seat? 5-point harness?
Yes. No, of course not. I'm making a joke.
I have seen those pictures before. They're basically like, they look like high chairs that have the legs cut off. They just like slide you in. I don't know what the purpose was.
Oh, you mean old car seats? Like when we were kids?
Not if it was one, if I said, have you ever seen a picture of you in a car seat? I thought it was understood that I meant when you were a child.
I understand now. And the answer is no, I haven't. I think I just rode in the back of the El Camino.
I remember in preschool standing on the bench seat in my grandpa's pickup truck next to him. So standing in the middle, talking to him while we're driving into preschool.
Totally normal.
Totally normal.
Station wagons.
Yep.
Facing backwards.
Did you guys ever lay on the back deck of the car, and when the car stopped, you'd roll down in the back seat?
Yes. This is things that we did.
You ride in the back of the truck?
But here's the thing. People will say, all these newfangled car seats and blah, blah, blah. I didn't ride in a car seat when I was a kid and I'm fine. But here's the thing. There are a lot of kids who weren't fine.
Yeah, those kids are no longer adults around to tell us that.
And that's it really is like a sad part of that story. And it's not an intellectually honest thing to say that because you didn't ride in a car seat when you were a kid, that car seats are not necessary for children.
Yeah. And that's always that argument. I ate fruit roll-ups every single day of my entire life, and I'm still here.
Yeah, and if you were raised in the 80s and the 90s like we were, you ate basically nothing that wasn't processed for 25 years.
That's correct.
And then thank God for Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm. I would have known.
Because even our Republican president, George H.W. Bush, was like, get rid of the broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
That's like all I remember from 90s politics.
Yeah,
that and something about a blue dress and a cigar. But when you are when you are working through the lessons that we learn societally, it's good to say, you know what? I don't have to really fear putting my kid in the car because they have a car seat. It's going to keep him safe. So you adapt and you develop over the course of time. You evolve with the lessons that you learn. So you can't say that, like, kids these days suck because they're not kids from my day. You have to understand and embrace the times change. Things are invented and it changes the game. But the idea that your kid is going to be the one who is going to change the world. Your kid's probably not going to change the world. Maybe the county, not the world.
Hopefully they change St. Clair County.
St. Clair County. Your kid's got a lot of work.
That'd be great.
St. Clair County's on the mend. They're doing okay.
I know. I'm looking for a kid to come along and push it over the top.
Right from on top of the ketchup bottle.
Yeah, I think that's Madison, but it's very close.
It's very close.
Right on the line.
I was sitting here thinking, are you in Madison or St. Clair?
I'm real close.
I don't understand, though, this idea that we would take away the Darwin Award, the man versus nature lessons that will, like, as much as we want to challenge what the science, capital TS, says, there's still biological, natural things that are going to correct the course of this over the course of time. Why would you throw your kid into the mix of that by removing every obstacle for them, like we talked about in the last segment, and trying to bulldoze everything for your children? And then also prioritize these sort of agendas. And it happens on the left and the right. It is a political thing. It's not adjacent to just one particular political ideology. But the idea of using children to try to combat injustices, like, raise your kids right, and then the injustices will go away with new generations. It's so amazing to watch kids play, and if skin color comes up, they get it. Mm-hmm. We screw them up by pushing in front of them things that they have to learn it. It's not a nature thing. It is absolutely a nurture thing. And more from Yahoo here. Laura Luray, a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner credited with popularizing the term honey badger on TikTok, says she began noticing behavioral patterns online and in her everyday work. There was something that was so different about them, I just couldn't ignore it. She says she lifted the moniker from the viral honey badger don't care meme, which gained fame in a 2011 YouTube video, the crazy something honey badger. I can't read that on the air. The video blended National Geographic footage with irreverent narration recounting the animal's carefree adventures, including invading beehives and fighting jackals. Raising honey badger kids presents challenges given their tendency to question authority and exhibit strong-willed behavior. I've talked about I'm in this Facebook group, and it's like parenting in a tech world. And one of the things that comes up so consistently, and they're talking about 9-year-olds, sometimes younger, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, whatever, 13-year-olds. And they keep saying, we live in a technological world. I want my kids to question rules. I want my kids to learn to question authority. And so they don't want to provide the parameters for these kids in that specific instance that limit their access. And the entire predication on all of that is this idea that they want their kids to be able to question things. And I'm like, they get to be kids for this long. And when you take away as a parent your responsibility to be the only authority in their life that's supposed to love them so hard that you're willing to ruin their day or their week or their year or what they think is their life because you've pulled a restriction back on them, that you're the only one who cares that much about their childhood and protecting it. And I really feel like that mentality, which I see in that group and other places, of constantly pushing your kid to, like, stand up and do this whole protest culture thing. They're kids.
It's
man.
Totally true. And it's a much better point. If you're going to take a point from this segment, take that one. Not this one that I want to make before the end of the segment.
Here we go. You can start the music.
Which is that if we were riding upside down in bench seats when we were kids, which we were, now you're going to tell me that my car seat is expired?
They can expire.
Give me a freaking break.
You don't believe in expired car seats?
No.
Oh, I do.
Not at all. that car seat was fine for that kid. Oh, but now it's 2024. It's not fine for your next one. Okay. Yeah, I definitely believe you, big car seat.
I'm going to not endorse Ryan Wiggins' statement there and say, abide by that. And go to your fire department. Did you know they'll install car seats for you and check them to make sure that they're in and safe? That's my PSA. Please hit the dump button on Ryan's last statement. Thank you. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. Kind of cold outside, man. And I have noticed our furnace has been running more than usual as the temperature has dipped into the 30s. We got to see that beautiful snow. And I was incredibly grateful for the Air Comfort Service furnace in our house and the whole home humidifier that is attached to it that kept us very, very comfortable all through the Christmas wet, rainy break that we had. But then this past weekend, when it started to snow and it was cold outside, you go inside and the temperature is perfectly controlled and the air is moist and comfortable. If you need service done for your HVAC system, if you need to consider that whole home humidifier with the dry air that is seeped in and it's causing your skin to be dry and your skin or your lips to crack, nosebleeds, among other things, Air Comfort Service can help you with all of that. Reach out to them for maintenance, for a tune-up, for a replacement, if that's unfortunately what you have to go through. I had to do that a few years ago. Air Comfort Service was there for me. They'll be there for you as well. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. When you call them, mention the Annie Frey Show, and they will hook you up with all of the rebates that are available and the great, great financing options that they have for you as well. aircomfortservice.com.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it, and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. Lumi was developed by an OBGYN. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, and that reassurance is worth every penny. Lumi has over 300,000 five-star reviews, and a 60-day money-back guarantee means you can try Lumi risk-free. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RISKFREE and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack, and ships free with code RISKFREE. LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
We're about to talk about the results from today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Who will win the Iowa caucus, which is 1 week from today? Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else? I'm actually going to rank those when we come back because I feel like that's a better answer for myself anyway. But we'd like to know what you think. Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. It is 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's Mark Reardon. There's a list of proposals that came out last week, the Vote on Priorities idea on how to spend the $250 million in RAM settlement money. And the word safety doesn't appear one time. We're going to talk about that coming up.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is who will win the Iowa caucus? On the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we're broadcasting live here as we are, of course, on the radio, 97.1 FM Talk, and the Odyssey app. And you can go to the YouTube page, and on our live broadcast, there's a chat box there that you can look into and a poll on top of it. And you can tell us, do you think it's going to be Trump, DeSantis, Haley, or someone else? I'm looking right now at the RCP, that's the Real Clear Politics averages here for the 2024 Iowa Republican Presidential Caucus. The average percentages for the candidates, Trump, 51.3%, DeSantis, 18.6%, Haley, 16.1%, Ramaswamy, 5.9%, Christie, 3.7%, and Asa Hutchinson, 0.7%. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I'm going all in with Hutchinson.
Okay, that's good. It's got to be a 0.7% somewhere.
No, I kind of ranked these in reverse order. I would put them, as far as our poll goes, with Haley at the bottom, least likely to win among these four. Then DeSantis, then someone else, then Trump. Just because I think Iowa is very
You think that
rebellious.
Someone else is going to come in second place?
I could see somebody like a Ramaswamy or somebody completely out of left field taking Iowa just because it's happened in the past. Somebody that nobody thought was possible to win Iowa. Just because they do that. They love picking weird candidates. The way they caucus where they can see each other, that will have a random candidate gain momentum a lot of times. So it's a strange system, and it sometimes produces strange results.
But your vote is Trump.
My vote is still that I think Trump will win, though.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm still Ron DeSantis. I think he's going to win. I'm going all in, chips down.
How earth-shattering in the political landscape would it be if Ron DeSantis somehow wins?
It would change the dynamic going forward for sure. He would be the de facto number 2 to Trump and people would assume he was the only one that could beat him then.
I do think it's interesting, even outside of Donald Trump's enormous lead, to see how Iowans shake out the DeSantis-Haley question. They're very, very different candidates, but they're both successful Republican governors, and they have different reasons for being attractive to Republican voters. So I am most excited in all of this to get some actual hard facts to these very, very drawn out, worn out polls that we constantly have to look at and assume that there's some truth to it. And we've seen over and over and over again, wow, the polls really missed this one. If the polls really got it right, that would be a headline, because that's not the case. That's not the traditional expectation anymore since pretty much before 2016. I don't even know in 2014, was that the shellacking year? Was that when Obama said? I think that was when Obama said it was shellacking, unless it was 2010. I know 2010 was enormous. But it seems as though our focus and our polls doesn't have us paying attention to the right things, which is what frustrates me about polls so much, because they're used as they're not used to inform, they're used to influence. Fox Business, their poll says Trump's at 52% and has DeSantis at 18%, Haley at 16%, which is very similar to the average. The best, this is ironic, maybe not, the best that Trump does in the polls that are averaged here is the CBS News poll, has Trump at 58%, DeSantis at 22%, Haley at 13%. The Iowa State Civics poll has Trump at 54%, DeSantis 17%, Haley at 15%. The lowest Haley gets is 13%. The highest she gets is 19%. And the lowest Trump gets is 45%. The Trafalgar Group poll says Trump 45%, DeSantis 22%, Haley 19%. If that's the way it shook out, 45, 22, and 19, is that a story or is that status quo?
Yeah, I think that's still status quo. DeSantis or somebody would have to make it pretty close with Trump for it to be a story.
Within 10, I would say.
Within 10 is probably knocking on the door of, oh, there's something there.
That there's a legit,
Yeah.
especially if you consider being within 10, if it were DeSantis or Haley being within 10, the argument that if the other drops out, they have somebody who can beat Trump.
Yes.
So, gosh, I probably would say Super Tuesday is as far as any of these candidates should take it. I understand taking it past Iowa, although I am, if the actual results from Iowa come out as demonstrative as these polls are, the sooner these other candidates get out, the better, in my opinion. They need to stop attacking each other and start attacking the actual opponent, which is the left.
Yeah, if you're a person who wants to vote for anybody but Trump, the faster this field can winnow, the better for you. The more candidates stay, the better for Trump.
So Brad and I will be here next Monday to cover the Iowa caucus, and we are excited to be doing a live show on Martin Luther King Day. So please keep that on your calendar and join us for that extra special coverage during our normal hours. It's a holiday, so there will be a lot of people who take that day off. We're going to be here to make sure you get some live coverage that day. Today's YouTube live chat poll, 1 week out, who will win the Iowa caucus? Haley, 2%. Someone else, 5%. DeSantis, this might shock you, 8%.
Oh, really?
Trump, 85%.
Wow, yeah.
I think our audience is pretty comfortable with the idea of a Donald Trump victory in Iowa next week. You're going to want to keep it here on 97.1 FM Talk as we continue to cover this. And as we heard from Mark Reardon at the beginning of this hour, interesting conversations ahead with Nick Schroer, among other folks. So don't go away. Mark Reardon up next.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor.